Welcome to the Horror Hangout podcast, where film fans watch the best and worst horror movies of all time and talk about them. My name is Ben Errington, and today I'm joined by regular co-host Mr.
Andy Conduit Turner. Hello, Ben. How are you?
I'm very well. How the devil are you? How have you
I
been?
am the devil very well, thank you. I'm back from the holidays. What a lovely time.
Well, have you been on holidays or have you been on any sort of international espionage?
Well, if I had done that, wouldn't be able to say. It'd be
Wouldn't be
absolutely
able to say.
top secret. If I'd
Got
gone and snapped a guy's head off in a hotel room,
oh,
wouldn't be able to say it.
if you'd gone into a little flying squirrel suit and flown all the way into a secret base, uh, yeah, I'm
Wouldn't be able
sure
to
your
say
holiday.
if I'd been down in the Elon Musk's bunker that he was about to explode and then just
Done him in.
bust his arm like Steven Seagal,
Oh
like they
God.
did. Yeah,
Well,
wouldn't be able to
I'm
talk about it.
sure your holiday had as many horror themes as the film of the week, right?
At least as many, if not slightly more, because I went to that skeleton chapel.
Oh yeah, you did. You
Went
did.
to my own bone temple, mate. It was lovely.
And did that help alleviate or increase your bone temple fear?
Um, Bone temple anxiety. We'll talk about it in a minute when we catch up
That's
on
right, bone temple
last week's
anxiety.
episode. We had some movement on bone temple anxiety. I think we might have
Yeah.
swapped places. We'll talk about it.
Yeah, yeah. Good idea. Swap places. We you tagged me in. Um yeah, so welcome back. Nice to have you back. We're talking about M3GAN 2.0 today. Weird because it feels like M3GAN 1.0 was like what? Last week? Two
It
months
was,
ago?
but it was approaching 3 years.
3 years. Jesus Christ. That is terrifying. And what I will say is I'm not going to go into my thoughts on the film immediately, straight off the bat, because I'm not an animal. But I officially had fatigue from the promotion for this film, um, to the point where I actually felt like I didn't want to see it again, like see it at all. Sorry. So the trailers and the posters and all the marketing had really done my head in. Like I'd seen the trailer so many times in different cinema trips that I was like, I don't even want to watch Freegan 2.0 anymore. I'm sick of it. And the latest trailer or the last trailer, whatever, I feel like gives away the entire plot. However, I will say I don't think it did give away the entire plot, which is really weird
No,
because I kind of feel like how has that trailer done that? It seemed to show elements from the whole runtime of the film, and how is it not giving it away? There are some lines of dialogue that I learned to hate that maybe were delivered in different context in the film, which maybe I can learn to accept. I don't know. It was a really weird one. I've not had that in a while where I was sick of the marketing and then had a pretty good experience with the
pleasant
film.
experience of the film. I think the other thing we'll have to talk about is we're here and we've come to M3GAN 2.0 because of our experience with the first one.
Yeah.
I would say coming in cold from this and without the legacy, maybe this has almost abandoned the horror genre at this point.
I mean it has. I mean it pretty much has. I mean on like Wikipedia it says science fiction action film. I'm not sure what genre it's put into like on things like Letterboxd. But yeah, I mean there's a few like deaths, a few grisly deaths and a couple of like splashes of blood when someone gets killed off screen. I mean on Letterboxd it says action thriller science fiction.
Yeah, I
Um,
mean, think about your average Marvel film though. How many people does Captain America punch to death?
how
In
many
in
people does he sling his bloody big metal frisbee at, and the edge of which takes their head clean off?
yeah.
Lots. Yeah.
But
But
yeah, we'll come to it. It's made it onto the list by its legacy. But yeah, we'll
yeah,
talk about the ins and outs when we get there.
we'll talk about the ins and outs of the Mafregan 2.0. I mean, inevitably that means that Mafregan 3.0 is going to happen, right?
Yeah, I feel it's almost inevitable. I feel like the makers of the film are ready for a Megan takeover of all sorts of franchises. I feel that Megan could be a new antagonist to Sonic now that Carrie's out of the Dr. Robotnik role. I
Interesting.
feel like it would not feel jarring if she turned up in the next Fast and Furious movie. It just would be normal.
It's, it's,
I
it's
would
normal, if anything.
absolutely. Ed Boon, if you're listening, stick her in a Mortal Kombat
Oh
game
my
anytime
God,
you
yeah.
like.
I mean, absolutely. It's not made a ton of money though, you know. Box office wise, it's hit less than perhaps
I'm
what
reading
they
here
expected.
budget 15 to 25, box office 18. So
I mean, it's not the end of the
it's on
world,
the button right
but I
now.
think they were hoping maybe for more. It was released alongside the old F1 film or F1 the movie, as I think it was remarketed to.
The
Just
dad movie.
the dad movie, just in case people went, "Hang on a minute, what film's this? F1? What does that mean? Something to do with battleships?"
Oh, it's just coming off the back of Father's Day, and I didn't get him a present, so now I'm saying, "Oh, Dad, I know it's Father's Day. I didn't forget. I'm going to take you to the cinema next weekend instead."
Fair enough.
Absolutely. What's coming out soon? Dad movie.
I'd be
Top
all
Gun
over.
Maverick? No, another one about cars.
I've done some dad movies recently, though. I mean, I don't think I mentioned it last week, but I've done John Wick's Ballerina in the universe of John Wick. I've
Yeah,
done The Accountant 2, both very, very dad-coded movies. Ballerina, maybe not so much just because of who the protagonist is, you know?
yeah.
That's more of
It's
a.
not an older man. It's not Liam
It's
Neeson.
not an older man. It's not a man, someone like Ben Affleck, who you go, he's about 40. What?
He's just like me.
In The Accountant 2, I swear to God, I'm like, bloody hell, he's fast tracked his age in like 6 months. He's 60 years old now.
It's all the
Well, I don't know.
dads.
I don't know about that. Any guesses on Ben Affleck's age?
Ooh, I reckon he's 51.
52.
Oh, so
Very,
close.
very close.
He's just had a birthday yesterday.
No, 15th of August. So his birthday's coming up.
Oh, I
There we
was
go.
close though.
You were close. You were close, definitely. But yeah, dad movies, F1 movies, dad movies usurping what, like M3GAN, which you would say is not a dad
A
movie,
sci-fi action
a
movie.
sci-fi action movie aimed at young audiences, I guess,
I
because
think
of
you're really threading a needle though, because for the horror audience, you've got 28 Years Later was only out a week prior, and that's
yeah,
coming with years of anticipation behind it.
yeah,
And then you're really threading a needle with you really had a clear week that where you were up against F1 for the dads.
mm,
Um, and then you're about to run into an absolute blockbuster summer where you've got Jurassic Park this week,
yeah.
Superman the week after, Fantastic Four just after that. So for your
I mean,
general
bloody
audiences, who I think this is now firmly in the camp of, I reckon they're keeping their powder dry for some of those. Cinema trips expensive these days,
mm,
and all
yeah.
of those are huge movies. Whereas I think for all of the merits of this film that we're going to talk about in a little bit, I don't think I don't think anything about it matches the spectacle. If you were going to go and see a big movie that you think I need to go and see this at the cinema, I think um in particular Superman and bloody dinosaurs, Jurassic Park, they're going to take the biscuit, right?
Superman versus dinosaurs. They
Yeah,
are going
who'd
to take the
win?
biscuit. They're going to take the old damn biscuit
The biscuit barrel.
tin barrel. Well, you went for barrel, I went for tin. But I wouldn't be adverse to a barrel. Talking of cinema stuff, Andy, I saw you post something on Threads this week, an interesting talking point. You said, "I'm sick to bloody death." When you said
If anyone does this,
you were talking about the themed popcorn buckets that come out with like big cinema releases, and I guess looking at it from a sustainability standpoint, we're just like, hang on a minute, what are all
yeah,
these big old plastic things being made of that are soon gonna? Because after the cinematic run of that film, that thing is kind of you're done with, unless you're a collector, of course. But some people won't be collectors.
or a grifter, and you're thinking you're going to put it on eBay in a week's time, and it's going to be like
Collector
a copy of Superman
slash
#1, pay
slash
your
grifter.
mortgage off.
Yeah.
Yeah, I anyone to think I work in sustainability, I do. But yeah, it just feels like I know people are looking for something to promote the cinema experience, right? They want people to get themselves back in the cinema and have the experience. And I said in my Threads post, if you really love it and you're into it, live your life. I'm not here to judge you from it personally, but who I can judge for it is huge corporations who are still earning a lot of money, whether people are going to the cinema or not. So
Yes.
I really question, is a film specific, pretty high cost popcorn bucket, is that what you need to get back into the cinema? Because it's like this week's cinema thing until that's things off the pictures. Next week's like clutter around your house. next month's charity shop donation, and next year's bloody landfill. And you know what? Pretty sure things are bad enough. I'm not sure we need more
Yeah,
plastic
fuck it.
garbage in
Make.
landfill.
I mean, what's stopping them just being some interesting cardboard shapes?
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
that cost you less and are just
Yeah.
exciting. Or what about a nice commemorative glass, Ben, that you could put in your
Yeah.
thing? Something you'd actually like want to keep or use for other reasons. Why not oh, you saw this at the cinema. Here's a buddy code. So if you want to buy this when it comes out, you get a special edition. Like an I saw this at the
Yeah, I see
cinema
what you mean.
super limited edition that you can buy if you liked this film. To be honest, environmentally and morally, I would say it is more okay if you could pay and someone would like give you a wristy while you were there. You'd enjoy yourself at the cinema. It is an in-person experience, and it's better for the planet.
I had absolutely no idea where you were going. Similar to the other week when you started comparing dangerous animals to Sex in the City, but
Yeah.
I didn't know where you're going with that. Do you mean like when you cut a hole at the bottom of the popcorn bucket? And not that I've tried that.
No, I just mean a professional that was there. Say, oh, thank you for
An
coming to the
official,
cinema.
official professional. I see what you
Yeah, an
mean.
official professional saying thanks for coming to. Maybe they could dress like one of the characters from the film. They could dress like Beetlejuice or Tyrannosaurus
Nosferatu.
or
Dress like. Hang on a minute. If you dress like a Tyrannosaurus, short arms, wristies aren't going to be very good.
comparatively, if they're a human arm, was probably the same size as a T-Rex arm.
Good point.
Just the
Didn't think
rest of
of
the
it like that.
costume would be bigger. There'd be other cinema workers on top of the T of to make the full-sized body.
I
I think
mean,
morally and
yeah.
for the jobs it would create,
Hmm?
obviously it's not in the job description of a normal cinema worker who signed up to dish
Sex
up
work is
popcorn and do a
work.
sweep.
That's the
Yeah,
stance.
I'd get those people in and say, "Hey, here's a safe cinema environment for you to work in, voluntarily, of course.
Yeah.
Better for the environment than all that plastic."
Yeah. I mean, obviously, depending on what the rating of the film is, 18s only. I would say
If
popcorn.
it was a 12A, you could just have a little someone give you a little kiss.
God, very dangerous territory. Someone give it a kiss. I think the popcorn buckets thing were like a little bit of a, oh, that's pretty cool. Oh, look at the Nosferatu one. It's like his bloody sarcophagus, whatever the thing he was in. But like as time goes on, and I mean, talking of the F1 movie, someone went, you can get a bloody crash helmet one or whatever they are as a popcorn bucket. I'm like, what? It's just a crash helmet. Would just take a crash helmet if you got
Go
one.
and rob the post office on your way in a minute if you want.
Also, I feel like you get far less popcorn in these things than you would. Like it's the equivalent of a small popcorn, right? Surely. I've
Yeah.
seen some where it's like the Ghostbusters backpack. What know what they called? Backpack. Proton
The
pack.
what a proton
Proton
pack.
pack. And I'm like, you can get like bloody four kernels of popcorn in that.
And it's priced not
40.
dissimilarly to a portable nuclear fusion reactor as well. Very costly.
100%. It is definitely like that. You got to take out a new mortgage if you want one of these things. I just think a trip to the cinema is expensive as it is, right? I'm not even too happy about having to pay. I don't like buying my snacks and drinks there because I do feel like, oh, that becomes when you buy the tickets, lovely recliner seat, and all the food and drinks. It is pretty expensive. Add on top of that a bloody massive, a massive take home plastic thing, and you're talking like 50 quid probably, like at the cinema, aren't you? 50 quid! 50 quid! So I'm talking,
That's if you've got no friends to go with. If you go in like on a
oh
date
yeah,
or taking your children or something like that, they ain't gonna share.
this
They're gonna
is,
want a Wolverine and a Deadpool head.
oh yeah, this is the dad in me because I'm like, oh, that's like 2 hours worth of entertainment. This is the dad in me when I go, I bought this bloody computer game on sale and it was 6 quid, and I've been playing it for 50 hours. That's bloody value for money. I
Yeah.
do not want to suddenly just go, oh, now I'm going to the cinema and shelling out
Piss all
half
that
me.
up the wall and destroy the planet while I'm at it, which is
Yeah.
already, you know, perilously close to being destroyed, everyone. So be careful. Actually, no, that's a lie. The planet will be fine, everybody. We just won't live on it because
We
we'll all
just
be
went,
deed.
well, I'll be fine, mate, because I'll put my popcorn bucket F1 helmet on and
That'll
I'll be fine.
that'll that'll shield you from the sun's
That'll
unfiltered
shield me
rays.
from the sun's rays, which have been absolutely battering me this week, by the way. But yeah, I think that's the point. The point we're making. We're not trying to be old stick in the muds and miserable, but yeah, is become far less of a like interesting, cool little thing now, and now it's just a bit of a excuse me, a
Yeah,
what? How dare you?
yeah.
Um,
Come up with some other ideas, execs. Give me. a super. Oh, that actually, now we've said that, that for me would be the real thing. If there was like a code that you could only get at the cinema, like unique to your ticket, like a one-use code. Say, I saw this film at the bloody cinema,
Yeah.
and then by putting that in,
Yeah.
you get like a, oh, did you enjoy that film? Yeah. Do you want to pre-order your copy of this? It comes out early, and you get like the most hardcore, literally like a day one. I saw this at the cinema. Otherwise, it's not released in this format when it comes out on physical
Yeah.
media.
I like
That,
that because being rewarded for going to the cinema does sound good, seeing as you are.
and you know what? If you want to gouge that and you want to get the code, you still have to buy a bloody cinema ticket, even if you don't go.
Yeah. Okay.
So, you're welcome, Hollywood. Your
That's
friend,
a good
Andy
idea.
Conduit Turner, has just solved it for you. I will take my payment. I want 1%. That's all I want.
1%. See, he's not a greedy man. He's got it down. Okay. I like the thought of that. So let's quickly talk about what episodes we got coming up in July because we recently announced the lineup. Obviously, this week, M3GAN 2.0, as we discussed. Next week, a movie called Dead Girl with special guest, a returning guest, Ariel Power Shaw. She's coming back on the show to discuss that. Then we've got Phantasm Free. We've been talking about this for a while, getting Jake West and Aaron Trust back on the show to discuss Phantasm Free, Lord of the Deed,
Well, the deed.
Lord of Deed, which is nice. Then we've got I Know What You Did Last Summer, the remake, and we got the host of Not Another Teen podcast, Liz Bishop, who's already been on the show, as well as Alice coming on the show as well. So looking forward to that. And what's the last one? Raw with
Raw.
Ryan Hollinger. Ryan Hollinger, a guy that I've followed on YouTube for many, many years. He puts out like video videos on various horror movies like almost every week. I've been watching them for a long, long time. Been absolutely gasping to get him on the show, and now he's joining us to discuss Raw. Julia Dorcanu, is that how we say it? Titan, obviously we covered before, so one of her films. Looking forward to it. And then, of course, not to spoil August as well, but we've got new releases coming up in August, including Together, the film of Alison Brie
Looks
and
great.
Dave Franco. Looks great. Eyelids sticking together. Weapons. Um, the what's his name? What have I forgot his name? Zach Kreger,
Hmm.
the Barbarian director. His new film. And Bring Her Back. Now, Bring Her Back. Point of contention. It's out on VOD now, and it's not even in UK cinemas. How do you feel about
That this used to be a fucking proper country, Ben.
that?
That's how I feel about it.
Oh, that is a slap in the
Bloody
face, though, isn't
two-tier
it?
Keir himself. What are you doing?
Listen, two-tier here. Why is bring her back in America, not in here? That's the big issue. All right,
Yeah.
for God's sake.
It's at least as big of an issue of someone saying things that hurt somebody's feelings at Glastonbury.
It is exactly. It
Yeah.
definitely is. So come
Like
on, for God's sake.
if you are really going to put political hours into stuff which is largely pointless and ignore much more significant issues in the world, then at least make my films come out on bloody
Yeah,
time.
yeah. Come on, for God's sake. But I'm annoyed about that because now it's like, oh, tempting. Do I want to get a VPN, go on VOD and watch it early? No, I kind of want to see it on the big screen. Does
And I
that
want to
then
watch it on the big
start?
screen. And obviously, are they thinking about our download numbers, Ben? A lot of listeners in countries where it's out, they'll be like, "All right, Grandad, we've seen this film. We've forgotten about it
Two bloody
already.
months ago,
Well, I've
mate. Come and
got it on
gone.
VOD. Got a special buy it at home copy that because I
Got a
went and saw it at
popcorn
the
bucket.
cinema."
Got a popcorn bucket of the kid's little head with eyeballs bleeding.
Yeah,
Yeah, yeah. Got a popcorn bucket. Oh,
you
come
press his
on.
nose, it goes, "Bring it back." Yeah, I assume that's what happens in the film. I don't know. I ain't seen it in this
I ain't
stupid
seen it. I ain't got a
country.
bloody clue. Anyway, that's the next 2 months are shaping up. Very
Well, that was an
exciting.
old day last week, Ben. Bloody in the EU, people walking around doing all their in jokes about bring her back. Didn't know what was going on. Felt right left out.
Bring her back fever has gripped everybody else apart from the UK. For God's sake, fuming. Um, but news. I've got a couple of bits of news that I think are gonna
Cheer
invoke
me up.
some sort of reaction. First
Uh-oh.
one, this one's fine. Grindfest 2025 is coming to a place called it's presented by Dirt in the Gate Movies. It's at the Regent Theatre in Christchurch, which is like near Bournemouth.
So New Zealand?
It's in bloody New Zealand that we're talking about. Listen to this for some of the films on the lineup. We got some 35mm screenings of certain films such as Extro, The Howling, Videodrome, as well as screenings of American Psycho, uh, Brain Scan, Scan, Jesus, Terminator, Terminator 2, Parasite 3D, but also this is the big one, New York Ninja, which I think is
Sounds
uh
great. Sign me up.
sounds great. Sign me up. Yeah, we've posted about this on our socials already, so go and have a look. Tickets for the 3-day event are available now. You can buy individual tickets for each screening as well if you're on the South Coast. Go and check it out. Don't know what
We should
happened when
do
I tried to say
extra at
brain
some
scan
point.
then. What was that?
We should do an extra episode at some point.
Yeah, I've
I think
watched that.
Ed recommended it to us a while back.
Yeah. New York Ninja looks great as well. I've never seen that, so I need to check it out. I'm getting choked up here talking about all these new films. It's all these screenings of films. Did you know also, other bit of horror news, Lego is officially releasing the X-Files set with monsters, aliens, Mulder, Scully, and more. It looks like the X-Files office, Sculder's office.
Scolder.
No, Skull.
It's when the skinny one from Power Rangers joined the FBI, got his life back on track.
Sculder. Sculder. Oh dear. Oh, it's been a long day. Mulder and Scully. It looks like Mulder's office, and on top is like a sort of forest with an alien and a UFO, and Mulder and Scully just looking about.
Do you
I
get a
thought,
little
when you see these things, you go, bloody AI generated slop. Well, I look at that and I go, oh, it's real. And then the actual Lego website is posted about it as well. So God knows how much that's going to be. And again, yes, I know it's plastic bits and bobs, but give me that
at least your Lego you
immediately
keep
and
and
play
you
and play with.
yeah, play with, have a look
There's
at.
little
Do you get a
tombs in it.
little I was about to say, oh, do you get a tombs, little stretchy tombs?
I don't know if he's stretchy. He looks like he's stuck in a vent,
Stuck in a chimney.
stuck in a bloody chimney.
Do you get
You
a
never
director
make it.
Skinner?
Yeah, I think so. You get a Skinner.
You
I,
get a
I want
smoking man, not in Lego, surely. You wouldn't have a little Lego cigarette man.
no. You hopefully get the little poster, the I want to believe poster. That'd be nice, wouldn't it?
Yeah, it'd be lovely.
It looks
The
like
only
it
thing I think
looks
that
like
would be
it.
better than this Lego X-Files set would be a Lego sort of curiosity slash antique shop where all these cursed items are, and you get a little Lego Ryan, a little Lego
Interesting.
Jack, a little Lego Mickey. Might send that in actually. If
Yeah,
anyone is a
send it in.
wicked Lego designer,
They
get
need
in touch.
suggestions, I reckon.
We'll collab on this, and then we'll get all of our horror hangout listeners
And you'll take
voting.
1%.
I'll do that for free. I just want I just want the opportunity to own
Yeah. Okay.
the Curious Things
I see what you
Friday
mean.
the
That
13th, the
makes
series.
sense.
No, you get no Jason minifigure in that, of course, won't be necessary. He's not in it.
No. There we go. A final piece of news that I've got here, Andy. Listen to this. I thought I'd bring this up because you wanted a chance to vent a little bit about popcorn buckets. I want a chance to vent about this shit.
Go on then.
Minnie's Midnight Massacre. Minnie Mouse gets her own public domain horror movie. We wanted to bring the black and white sidekick to life. We've seen Willy in all these reimaginings, but what about Minnie? Why not give her some spotlight? Said no one ever. Now, there's someone in what looks like a 5-year-old child has made a little Minnie Mouse mask, popped it on their head, wearing some sort of blood-stained tutu, and they got a big old knife. Why are all these characters wanting to slash people up, right? I haven't seen Steamboat Willie. It's not that I refuse to watch it. I just haven't got round to it. Um, Minnie's Midnight Massacre. What's going on? When will it end? Andy.
The heat death of the universe, I think. Yeah.
Oh man.
Or when a real forward thinker like Bezos gets involved and gets his legal team to stop things going into public domain so we can monetize them forever.
Yeah.
Something like that. Because James Bond is perilously close to being up
Yeah.
for grabs pretty soon. I reckon they'll try to do something about it.
I will say a little while ago, things going into public domain filmed me with joy. Oh, a character, a long loved character being now in public domain, anyone can make anything about, and great. I can't wait to see what creative ideas everybody comes up with. But since Winnie the Pooh, Steamboat Willie, Bambi, Pinocchio, Piglet, all those people have gone into public domain.
Tigger, same bitch the whole time.
Bitch. Wait, what? Who's the
Tigger,
bitch?
the Tigger in Winnie the Pooh, Blood and Honey too, who's
Tigger
basically
says
Freddy.
bitch. Who's basically Freddie. Oh, I just said Freddie Mercury then.
Bounty
Ew.
Freddy. Who would ever
Ew, ew. Um, I'm at my wit's end. I've had enough, right? Okay, if I'm watching these films and going, you know what, they're harmless fun, I'd be like, fine. But I've, despite the fact I've only seen two of them and been subjected to like trailers and posters for all the others, I've had enough. Not only have I had enough of this, but I've had enough mainly of the reaction from like not actually horror fans, but I think like sort of part-time horror fans who go, "It's bloody mental, isn't it? They've made a horror film of bloody Winnie the Pooh. What's next? Can't believe it. I'm gonna watch this."
what makes you more angry, Ben? The actual reaction, or when you look under that Instagram video and it's like 3.2 billion views, and it's like,
Yeah, probably that
don't
as well.
worry, I'll just try to actually do something.
It is the most
So-
throwaway thing, like the Pooniverse. Like I go, ha ha, oh yeah, the Pooniverse, ha ha. But that's real life. That ain't we ain't talking just a little meme that's popped up on Instagram. That's real life. That's being made. And I think Bambi the Reckoning might be the next one. Why are they all evil? Why are they all wanting to kill people? What?
someone, the Peter Pan one is out, right? And I think I've seen some positive
Yeah,
reviews of that.
Neverland Nightmare, Peter Pan. You might have seen some positive reviews from it because there are a lot of idiots out there. I'm sorry. Don't want to alienate any of our any of our listeners who perhaps like these films. But what I'm saying is, let's try something else other than slasher, right? Because
I think Peter
horror,
Pan had an opportunity to be good. You could just do an adult version of Peter Pan where, but he pirates the wrong uns in it.
yeah. I just think not everyone needs to do a slasher. Not everyone
Yeah.
has to. Like the horror genre, slasher is just a bit of the horror genre. Let's try something else. I can't imagine any of these films being drastically different in terms of, themes and
Just a
character
slightly different
arcs.
flavored mask. Because Minnie
Just
Mouse hasn't got any catchphrases, has she? And Mickey Mouse doesn't really have any catchphrases, but from
what does Minnie Mouse say? Mickey, you little kid. No, no,
sort of aha, but in a slightly different voice.
yeah. Why haven't we got a Donald Duck one? Why is everyone going mad for Mickey and Minnie? Where's
I'm,
her? Oh,
I'm
he's not in the
guessing
public
he's
domain
I'm
yet.
guessing he's
I want
he's
to.
got a couple of years on the thing. Donald Duck has got anger problems. I'm looking
Oh
forward to that.
yeah,
What would that be
absolutely
called?
fuming. Angry Donald.
It'd be cool, and it'd be like,
Anger
and all the
management.
taglines would be like, "Get
Uh,
ready to get ducked up."
oh, that's good. I was gonna say you won't like him when he's angry, but that's already been taken, isn't it?
Yeah,
Oh,
that's not in the public domain. You
just
can't
a
say
little.
that.
I'm just already. I was talking about marketing fatigue from M3GAN 2. I am fatigued by the existence of these films. Like, I don't think Minnie's Midnight Massacre exists within the realm of the Pooniverse. I think it's separate from that.
No,
But
they're
director Brett
separate entities, right?
Bentman, director Brett Bentman
Yeah.
is sees. I can't wait for Minnie to go on a killing spree, seeking revenge against the childhood bullies who tortured her as a teenager. Sorry, I d- there's some
So
really
effectively, you've made a slasher
cursed
film, but you've just
put a
put a Minnie Mouse
Mouse
mask on
mask on
an
it.
otherwise
This is what I'm
other
confused by
story.
because a lot of these films seem to go, this is actually a character, an anthropomorphic animal, a character, and other ones just go, someone with a bloody mask on. I
So
just
what
think,
you've done the slasher equivalent of you've Doki Doki panicked this, haven't you? What you've done is that you've taken a completely unrelated thing and you've made Super Mario Brothers 2 out of it, everybody. Not to our listeners in Japan, you got the
oh,
original one, but it was
oh
too
yeah,
hard for us.
an alien in.
So we got Doki Doki Panic. So what you've done there is you've gone a revenge slasher. How can I make this slightly more marketable?
Mini
You know
Mouse.
what? Fair play to Ben though. Do you live your life, mate? But yeah, I'd like to see something that's more that embraces and uses potentially a little bit black characters, and maybe I'll be pleasantly surprised.
Maybe.
But in the
Sorry,
meantime, I
just wanted
join
to
you
get
in
out of
being
my chest.
fatigued.
I will get. I have got something on my what I've watched this week that may voice. I may have to voice my displeasure about as well.
Okay.
So I'll do that straight away. Get it all out of the way.
Can I tell you one more bit of news, Ben,
Yes, you can.
before we
Thank you.
go? I mean, this is something that you can enjoy every week of the year, or every week at least that the season is running. But do you remember, Ben, our friend and former guest, James Barnett, Jimmy Horrors himself,
Of course I do.
joined you for Land of the Dead,
Yes, he
didn't he?
did.
Um, good chap as he is, he produces the Night's End podcast, doesn't he?
Oh, I've heard about this. I saw you share it earlier.
Well, this week's episode of the Night's End podcast, he's gone back and remastered one of his early episodes of the show. The story is called The Elevator of the Dead. It is a short horror, and it is a section from the author's longer projected zombie survival novel that they were working on. Fortunately, I don't have the author's name in front of me. I will try and dig that up in just a second. But in this remastering of it, he's got some different voices in there. Justin Fife, another one of our creative friends that we've worked with, some of the folks that we don't know. But one of the characters, a legal assistant named Henry, played by yours truly, listeners. So if you want to get
Oh,
in
hell
and have a listen
yeah.
to that, that's bloody me, that is, in a zombie apocalypse. Well, me playing a man called Henry in a zombie apocalypse.
Who,
And
can you tell us a little bit about the character? What's going on with
so
that?
he is a legal assistant in the story. He is been kept working late because you know what bosses be like. He's on the way back. He's on the way back to his wife and child stuck at home, and then everything is upturned when an elevator ride, simply heading home, goes awry when two injured men
Oh,
race into the elevator and slam it closed, pursued by the hordes of the dead. How
oh
are they going
no.
to escape and find it back to street level? Will he get
Injured
back
as
to save his
well.
family on
Not
time?
not bloody
And
bitten,
of
mate.
course,
Bitten.
if you're a zombie fan, that's always a risk you got to play.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was really fun to record. I got to pretend to
Awesome.
throw up, which was lots of fun. I get to feel like I lived my real voice acting 101, where not only did I have lines to deliver, including calling someone Stone Cold Bitch number one, but I got to do little lines that were just like vomits and exert, like I'm in a video game. So I get to
Oh
like go
hell yeah.
lifting
Hey!
things up, pushing things up. Yeah, it was lots of fun. Lots of fun to do. Jimmy is a wonderful producer as well. He's worked with some really talented writers from around the world. Night's End podcast and his other projects are really good listens. If it's not already on your podcast feed, we'll move over. We'll make room for one more. You know,
Yeah.
there's space next to us in your feed. Get it on.
Let's stick a link to that in the show notes just so everybody can immediately grab it in case they have to go looking for it. We want to make things as easy for them as possible. Um,
Wonderful.
Wonderful. Okay, what we've been watching. Shall I just quickly rattle through mine just because?
Please do. Then I'm going to do a little bit of catching up with some things you've had to
Okay,
share
I'll
with me
rattle through mine
recently.
quickly. I won't take too long. So, first of all, I saw The Ritual with Dan Stevens, Al Pacino. I don't know if you've seen this advertised. It's an exorcism movie. It's a bit confusing that it's called The Ritual, considering there already is a film called The Ritual in the horror sphere
Oh, that one.
that is very good. So not that one. This is directed by David Midell. Unfortunately, this is by far one of the most generic exorcism films I've ever seen, and I've seen the is it not
The
the
Pope's
Exorcist?
Exorcist.
No, the Exorcism with Russell Crowe, not the Pope's Exorcist. He was in one called The Exorcism as well.
Yep.
Remember that? Yep.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
one of the 10,000
Oh,
exorcisms that the Pope's Exorcist did.
yeah. Oh, yeah, yeah, on his little Vespa. I mean, the Pope's Exorcist,
It's all right.
in like way more entertaining. The Ritual is the most generic exorcism film I think I've ever seen. And what annoyed me the most about it is that everybody involved keeps falling for every dirty trick the demon or the possessed person throws at them. Oh, bloody hell, your brother's dead. He's here with me in hell. No, he's not. Don't
On the
say that.
phone him.
How
No,
can I
he's
fucking
just
be on the
answered
phone to him?
actually. I've got him on
Basically,
FaceTime.
no one learns her lesson. So it starts doing the voice of someone's mum. Oh my god, how can that be the voice of someone's mum? Starts swearing and stuff. Oh, don't say horrible things to me. The worst, like Al
The
Pacino.
BBC on saying rude
I think
things.
Al Pacino is perfectly fine in it, but everybody else is like, in 2025 there have been 50 plus years of exorcism movies that have all kind of after The Exorcist all kind of copied that in a way or in some way. This seems like it tries to make you go, we've never seen any of those films. Don't worry about it. but just delivers the most generic story ever. And I find it really difficult to finish, and I've not felt like that with a film. You know me, I'm always finishing. Um,
It's been a
I'm
while
always
since
finishing
either
me
of us have
dinner. I'm
a
a
DNF.
never-ending
No.
completionist. Um, so yeah, there was that. I also watched a movie called The Waves of Madness, directed and starring Jason Trost, and I have been in touch with Jason Trost and asked him to come on the show to discuss this film because it's very, very interesting indeed. It's a lot of its DNA is very like PS1 era survival horror games. It feels very much like Resident Evil, Dead Aim. Is it Cold Fear, the one that was on a boat?
Cold
Uh,
Fear, very good.
very good.
Extermination.
Lots of Lovecraftian themes, and it's not entirely like this, but a lot of it is. It almost is like a side-scrolling film. If you
Yeah,
think
I
about
saw the post for this. This looks really good.
the scene in Old Boy, where obviously it's just almost like a side-scrolling beat 'em up. It's like that, but obviously survival horror. And it's a bit hammy, it's a bit cheesy, but it's very, very entertaining. And I recommend it, and I will be hopefully speaking to Jason Tross soon and finding out about the how this film was made, because I believe from looking at a lot of the reviews, it was a very small budget, micro budget, in fact, film that was mostly shot in an apartment. I think there's a lot of green screen stuff going on.
I mean, especially if Jason is being kind enough to come and join us, I'd better hurry myself up and get and see it, hadn't I?
Hurry, 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 hurry. Hurry and get yourself involved in the waves of madness. Very good. And then the final film I saw, well, the final thing I'm going to discuss is The House That Jack Built, the Lars von Trier movie that when it came out in 2018, I enjoyed and I thought, that was great. But I've watched it again and now I feel like I've got a whole new appreciation for it. And I feel like it's it's right up there with. I mean, it's definitely my favorite Lars von Trier movie. Probably my favorite Matt Dillon performance. Probably one of the most brutally. It's like a really brutal, disgusting, shocking film, but it's like darkly comic as well in places. There's a weird bit where it starts to veer off into maybe like that this character's a bit incel-y.
Uh-oh.
I kind of almost feel like that's a performance on the character's part to try and set him. It's a very complex film where I don't know if have you seen it? Do you know much about
I
it?
haven't yet. I was just
Yeah.
making a note. I'm gonna have
So
to hurry up and
basically,
see this. I meant to watch it, but never did.
it's several incidents in a serial killer's career, if you like.
Okay.
Over his 12-year killing spree, there are like five particular incidents of him and how he's killed people. There's a really interesting analogy about his need to kill and how and why it kind of builds in him. He compares it to like a shadow that forms when he's walking down a street, and when the street light's on him, that's when he's at ease, but then the shadow that grows behind him is like his need to kill. It's really, really
Okay.
interesting. There's loads of like really interesting analogies and a finale that is like it's just insane. It's a bit like Dante's Inferno as well. I describe it as the story of Dante's Inferno, but probably not the game. There's no hack and slash. There's no hack and slash game.
I also missed it. I was like, what? Pierce Brosnan in a volcano? That's Dante's Peak.
Dante's bloody peak, mate. But some of the murders in this film are like they go from like hilariously like, because there's obviously some kills he does in his early killing career, which they're a bit like haphazard and clumsy in a way, but then other kills he does which are just so like brutal and
Okay.
methodical, and it is just like Matt Dillon is a great actor, but I don't think I've ever seen him in a film where I've gone, he just completely vanishes into the role. He just becomes this
Not
character.
even the role
Jack.
of Mr. Lombardo.
What's that in?
You should know, Ben. I'd say maybe it's your second favorite Matt Dillon performance.
Mr. Lombardo. Why am I not? What's happened to me?
He's
Oh
Mr.
wait, Wild
Lombardo in
Things.
Wild Things.
Ah,
Yeah.
Wild Things. Oh my God. Do you know what though? It's been a long time since I've seen that, and it makes you feel a certain way when you're a teenage boy and
Might
watching
have to
that
watch
film.
it again for research.
I might have to watch that film again for research. Yeah. But the house that Jack built, I feel like I feel like when I first watched it, I was like, right, controversy for controversy's sake. It was off the back of like things like Antichrist and obviously, is it Melancholia that Lars von Trier wrote?
Yeah.
Sorry, directed. But it it's like kind of it's horrific, but it's kind of beautiful as well. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
I
Okay, I
recommend
need
it.
to
I
hurry up
would.
and get that
It's
watched.
gone from like a 7 out of 10 to a 9 out of 10 on my second watch for me. I would
Oh,
say
there we go.
really liked it. But yeah, that's me. That's me. So you've done some catching up.
I've done a little bit of catching up, Ben. Not just with episodes of the show, but but just other little bits that I've missed in recent years. Before I did that, there's always time to go back. I watched M3GAN 1.
Oh,
Um, I'd forgotten how much I enjoyed that film. I watched the unrated cut that came out when it came out on home releases after the cinema one.
is there lots of her running around on all fours?
Can't say directly what changed, but
Yeah.
it was a good film. I enjoyed it a great deal, and it does have a creepiness
Mm.
that maybe this one lacks. And sometimes it's in many ways because the technology has improved and is meant to have improved in the story, where the movement of Megan slash M3GAN is a little bit smoother. There's that slight jerkiness or that slight artificiality of the movement and the way that she responds in the first one that
Yeah.
just really adds to the horror elements of it. It's really good. It holds up a whole 3 years later, two and a bit years later.
That's good.
Um,
That's good to know.
I don't know if you saw this with Charlie or if it was just your good wife. Drop, I watched.
No, I didn't see that. So Charlie watched that when I was otherwise engaged.
Well, I've just got up with Charlie on Drop in that case, and I think as she described, interesting thriller, but for me, the biggest discomfort is if you've seen the trailers, someone is airdropping saying, "Here, murder your date, otherwise I'm going to kill your kid. Here's my mate.
Oh God.
Here's my mate standing over your kid with a gun. So
Oh
bloody
Jesus.
kill him, all right?" And a lot of it, because the killer messaged her and say, if anyone knows that you're talking to me, the killer, and I'm giving you instructions, then also that's you failed and they're dead.
Oh.
And for me, the biggest element of anxiety that this film generated wasn't so much the life and death peril that it was in, but how bloody rude she looked being on her phone all the time when she went to be on a
Oh, I
first
see.
date.
I see what you
And
mean.
the guy's like, "Oh, do you want some?" Oh, the waiter's coming over, and have you looked at the menu yet? And she's got her phone behind the
Can
menu
you
looking
not
at it. It's
just
like,
go,
"Oh, they know
I'm
you're on your phone." No, it's so rude.
it's so can you not just say, I'm really, really sorry, but I've got a family emergency. I don't actually need to be there right now, but I do need to keep an eye on my phone just in case I need to leave.
She sort of does that a little bit, and then
Okay.
loads of bits like she's pretend like so she gets to go to the bathroom and excuse herself to look. She, so to say, loses her watch, and then later when she goes to the bar, he notices that her watch is just in her purse, and it's like, oh no, now he knows you lied, and it looks really rude. And yeah, it
Ah.
was. I
You know
was
what I would have done?
mortified,
I
mortified.
would have gone to the bathroom and I would have dressed up as Scottish housekeeper Mrs. Doubtfire,
Yeah,
ran back to the table. She wouldn't have known it was me. He wouldn't have known it was me, sorry, and then murdered him.
yeah. Well, she doesn't want to murder her date though. She's got to
Oh,
find out
okay,
who
I
the
see.
baddie
Sorry,
is.
confused.
Yeah, because she's morally
Is
against
it
that doing
is
a
this a horror
murder.
film? Is it just a sort of stressful thriller?
Thriller. A
Thriller.
bit like what's the Johnny Depp one where he's got to be buddy on time and there's the shoe shine man that helps him. I think he might be called out of time.
Shoe shine man helps him, not secret window. Out of time.
Is it out of time?
I don't know. The bloody shoe. Nick of time.
Nick of time.
Oh
If it
yes, I remember.
is his character's name Nick in it, please.
Please be Nick. Please. It's bloody Gene.
Gene, fuck off. Come on. It was
Come
right
on
there.
now.
Just make his name
Just
Nicholas.
make his name Nicholas of Time.
Nicholas Time.
His name's Nicholas Clock
And
in
then in
this.
the and then in the sequel, his brother Justin comes into it.
Just oh, that would be good just in time. Who's a shoe shine man? Who's helping him? The shoe shine
Just his
man.
mate. It helps him. Yeah.
Is a shoe shine man still a thing, right? Because I saw something on TikTok the other day where someone was like, I'm off to see the shoe shine man. And I thought, where are you looking to find a shoe shine man? I wouldn't know where to start.
I've seen in fancy hotels they have shoe shinemen.
Okay. Airports? Nah, 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 nah,
You
nah.
won't be able to take those chemicals through the TSC.
Well, I guess you'd exist in the I don't know. Who knows? Who bloody knows? Okay.
Um,
Anything else?
Other things I caught up with. I caught up on Until Dawn.
Nice. Okay.
Just a fun effects thing. Story was just was.
Yeah.
And I think there's some good performances in it. There's some good people in it that I'm sure will go on to other things, but
Is there anyone called Dawn in it?
she doesn't come in it till the very end. Um,
Yeah, it's a
the
shame.
Yeah, I feel like they're not given meaty enough characters to work with a little bit, and I think in service of trying to get to the action as quickly as possible to get things started,
Yeah.
they kind of lose a little bit. You don't have any time to care about the characters. We're told in on a car journey, oh, ever since her sister went missing. Oh, what's that? Oh, sorry, you've got the radio tuned to Exposition FM. We just turn that off and get immediately to the action. Like, I
Yeah.
think taking a little bit more time of it, but there
Yeah.
were some fun little set pieces.
Yeah. People exploding. That was pretty
Uh,
good.
I caught up with 28 years later, of course, as well, Ben.
Oh, the big one. The big
Yeah,
one.
yeah. You guys did a lovely job, yeah, yourself and Asha last week in talking that through.
Yeah, there's lots to
So
discuss.
my big question for you, Ben, is how now is your bone temple anxiety? Let's compare it to mine.
I don't know. I mean, the Bone Temple like element of the film, not so much anymore. I've also been reading and looking at some interviews with Alex Garland, who does actually talk about the ending a little bit and gives it a bit more context. Again, I'm not entirely sure that I'm still sold on it, but he kind of describes these characters as, their lives that essentially their growing up ended when they were kids. So
Oh, you know what? You know what
they're
makes me
not.
feel good about that, Ben, is I haven't read that interview with Alex Garland to clarify it, and that's exactly what I theorized.
Oh, okay.
Check the timestamps on the
Okay.
threads,
Okay.
everybody.
Almost
Yeah,
like it's not specifically supposed to be a certain person. It's almost like their personality traits and the way they dress and stuff is like an amalgamation of lots and lots of things that aren't like attributed to one thing or another. They're not like, oh, we're dressed as this person. We're like this. They're kind of just they look a certain way based on certain
yeah, that was
matched
my
memories.
takeaway from it. It was like memories, but also like if you consider why do you dress more sensibly when you get older? Because you have to start dressing nicely to go to work or whatever. If you
Hmm.
could still wear your tracksuits that you wore when you were a kid, you probably would.
Yeah, wear a
I
football kit
mean, I
everywhere.
would say arguably that those fashions are a little bit beyond 2002 that you see them wearing, but
Yeah.
like I feel like in a world where you can no longer achieve the normal things in your life, but these things still exist and you know the rest of the world still exists, just the country they're in is
Hmm.
ruined. I think the combination of everyone we followed in the first movie is someone who is desperately clinging to conformity. You know, this is what life is like. These are the old rituals. This is normality, and we do all we can to try and preserve those things, and that is what we value. Then
Yeah.
you have like the doctor character who is really pursuing like a ritualistic approach to life whereby you can't ultimately change the world or have things go back to normal. But what he can do is be hyper focused on memorializing the dead, doing what he can
Yeah.
as he feels to do something positive in the world and have a very, very specific goal. And then these characters we meet at the end, what I suspect that they're going to develop is people who, one, like those dinosaurs, like those genetically engineered raptors or the I-Rex in the Jurassic Park book and movies, they don't have those social norms that have been taught to them by adults as
Hmm.
they was maturing. So they just have their instincts to work on, and therefore they have grown up really differently to if they had existed in a
Like the
normal
bloody what
society.
are they called from Peter Pan?
Well, the Lost Boys,
That's right. I was gonna say that, but that sounds wrong.
not the
Like the bloody
vampire
little lost
kind.
fellas.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and they will have props grown up in an incredibly violent world without that those regulating factors to normalize them. So I expect them to be absolutely doolally. And I think that there has been a visceral reaction for some people watching the end of that film. I
Yeah.
suspect that with this team creating things, many people may be bloody eating their words and dressing as them next Halloween. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, that would be crazy. So bone temple anxiety gone, would you say?
Yeah, I think this is going to be. I mean,
It's because
I'm still a little bit worried about it becoming. You know, I'm still bearing the scars of Halloween Kills on me, Ben. You know, when
yeah.
something goes from a singular film to having to support a franchise, but I'm interested enough to see. I assume the Bone Temple will be a little bit more about Dr. Watts's chops and what's he up to.
Yeah, I guess so. Old GP. As the fact that the Bone Temple didn't end up being like a creepy thing, like we'll just look at all these people we killed, and if you mess with us, you'll become part of the bloody Bone Temple, you mugs. At least it wasn't that,
Being
which
in
is
the Bone
what
Temple is actually quite nice.
Bone Temple's actually quite nice. I mean, like
Pick a spot, have it get in there.
mildly, mildly like mildly weird. I think is the right idea, but at the same time, I guess his heart's in the right place. He's just been through a lot. Oh, Mr. Iodine Man, hasn't he?
Yeah,
Uh,
he's doing all right. But the one thing that did stress me, he's the only person, actually, Mr. Iodine Man, the only person making even the slightest effort in 28 years later world to wear even the slightest bit of PPE. And I know from a film production point of
oh
view,
man.
it'd be no good if people wearing masks all the time. It'd be like um it'd be like Tenet where you can't understand everyone because it's bloody Tom Hardy going the whole time. No, can't hear anything if they actually wore masks. So from a practical filmmaking point of view, you can't do it. But put something on your face because you're
Oh
shooting
yeah.
arrows at people. You're getting blood in your mouth all the time.
Yeah, there's loads of that. And I just think that's something that I kind of assumed would have been addressed, but it wasn't. But
Because these things bloody happen, Ben. There was one time, many years ago, I've, I have a Facebook memory on it that reminds me of the biggest fail I ever had, one of the biggest ones in life, where I once cooked a pie in an unreliably temperatured oven.
oh God.
It was due for a thing. I Upon picking it up, it was a little bit unstable because it was
Oh.
hot on my hands, so I dropped it. In dropping it, a bit of the hot pie went onto my finger, burning me. Shaking it to get it off my hand because it was burning while saying ow, it flew into my mouth. If that had been 28 years later, world, and
You've been
pie had
done
been
for.
infected blood, that'd be
It
it.
was like Alan Partridge in the in the garage when he gets some apple pie out of the microwave and goes, "It's full of molten apple. I'll squeeze it. It could go either way. Could go your way, could go mine, but I'm willing to take that risk." That's pretty much it.
Exactly what happened.
Molten. What was it? Was it a fruit pie? Was it a meat pie?
It was a meat pie. It was like a steak and ale, I
Oh,
imagine.
right, okay. So maybe like blood like. It would have gone straight
Yeah,
into your
straight,
straight into your mouth. And then what did you
straight
do?
into the Gulliver. I actually got a bit of rage because I was like,
You
went
got a
all
bit
for,
of
and obviously was very angry because I'd both burnt my hand, mouth,
yeah,
and the pie was so hot because the crust had been singed, absolutely
yeah.
blackened.
Oh
Like, oh
man.
great, carcinogenic dinner, perfect.
Carcinogenic dinner, my favorite. Anything else?
Um, the one and the most important thing, of course,
Okay.
Ben,
Okay.
is I did manage to catch up with another weekly episode of our trip to the old curiosity shop with
Good
our friends
work.
Mickey,
Good
Jack, and
work.
Ryan with Friday the 13th. And this episode, Jack's away again. He's off on some other business, so it's just Mickey and Ryan this time.
Where is he,
Uh,
the lazy bastard?
well, it's just a day off.
Okay. We'll let him off.
So in this episode, the badge of honor, it's a bloody policeman, and he's been thrown off the case, hasn't he, Ben? Because he's jeopardized
Uh,
the. When I say jeopardized the investigation, he did get a lady officer shot because he couldn't bloody keep it in his pants, and he had to try and
ah,
arrest these people on a sting operation before they were ready.
yeah.
One of Mickey's old boyfriends comes into town. Uh, Ryan doesn't like him at all. Snoops around in his bag and sees he's got a gun and some photos of some local mobsters. But the policeman who's been thrown off the case finds himself an old antique sheriff's badge,
A rusty sheriff's badge.
a rusty old sheriff's star. You never guess what the sheriff's star does, Ben.
Oh, whew, bloody hell. The rusty sheriff's badge you can throw it like a ninja star and it'll take someone's head off.
Close, you hit the bar, I'm afraid. Um,
It kills someone, doesn't it?
the ninja star, not the ninja star, the rusty sheriff's badge. If you touch
That's
someone
the
with it who's a criminal, they basically thrash around as if they've been electrocuted to death.
what? So the sheriff's badge has got the. That's not a due. That's not like judge, jury.
That's not due process, no.
That's what I
Um,
mean. Judge, jury. That's not due
yeah,
process. The sheriff's badge just decides who's bad and whatever.
yeah. So
Could have
what
been
this
framed.
what this disgraced policeman does is he goes around and he's trying to get the henchmen. Oh, by the way, he's really into getting these particular gangsters because they blew up his wife in a car bomb like RoboCop, and
Oh,
she's now bedridden and won't talk to him, silently just judging him from their
giving him the
house the whole
silent
time,
treatment
giving him
because
the
she can't
silent
talk,
treatment.
or
He's like, "Please forgive me," and she doesn't say anything, right? Um,
says that
so then
gives him the finger.
doesn't even do that, just not even that, which sometimes
Ah,
is worse. Please give me the finger. No, shan't.
yeah, shan't.
So he's there and he's going around, he's taking out the henchman. Thankfully, he doesn't go straight for the top. He's getting the henchman, like the bouncer of the posh nightclub that the gangster owns, and he just touches him with a badge. He gets electrocuted around to death.
Ah,
So he's doing all these killings. Mickey and Ryan basically incidentally just happen to be passing, and they go, "It's one of those antiques that we just saw him use," and it is. So they just stumble across this antique from the manifest.
ah. What? So
Um,
they're literally there when it's being used.
they're there when it's been used. Goes, "What's he doing?" And then they know it's magic because when if he's got someone with it, then it disappears and reappears in his hand.
Is the act of selling all of these antiques, is it the biggest disaster in TV history, would you say? Because it's
Possibly. I mean,
the biggest cleanup required, a
they
bigger cleanup than
accidentally
an oil rig.
Exxon Valdez. Yeah, they to be fair, they did sell a few of them, but their uncle was selling them on purpose, knowing they were bad for
Yeah.
years.
And again,
So
is this one a historical one, or is it one they sold?
this is one that it was actually seized from previous
Ah,
murders. So it was in the
see.
police lockup. So
See, the thing is, they're getting involved with everything now, aren't they?
yeah,
And this is only in their city. Imagine how many cursed items there are elsewhere. It's
yeah,
never going to end.
they've got loads to do. So many. I'm almost at the end of season one though.
Oh, nice.
Um, turns out that Mickey's old boyfriend, even though Ryan didn't trust him, he learns a little bit of a lesson of trust because he was in the FBI. He was undercover. He was trying to save the day.
Mm.
And they're getting back together because obviously Mickey's a free agent now. But when she told her old boyfriend to sling the hook, remember her old fiance
Yeah,
who
yeah,
didn't
yeah.
believe her about the really provable supernatural things he's dealing with.
You've been gone for 2 years. Can you come back and get married to me now? No.
No. Um, so she's a free agent now, and it looks like they might get together. But of course, as is the curse of this program, bearing in mind I'm only in season one and several love interests have been killed, he is killed not in a supernatural way, but in the finale is just shot by the gangsters, and he is dead.
Yeah.
Um, he's dead. They ultimately do save the day though, and they recover the badge. Yet again, another absolute belter of an episode. Do you want to have a
They
guess?
recover the rusty sheriff's badge. You know what? You know
Yeah,
what that's a nickname for?
what's that?
Bumhole.
The Rusty Sheriff's badge.
Yeah.
If you're not wiping properly.
It's just
Um,
like you casually threw it in there and then they
so
try and pick up the rusty sheriff's badge and
and it disappears.
disappears.
Um,
Yeah, go on.
do you want to have a quick guess of what the next episode might be about based on the title?
Yeah, sure.
Series 1, episode 24 is called Pipe Dream.
It's about a pipe dream, a half pipe. It's about something to do with skateboarding.
Oh, skateboarding, that's good.
Yeah. Do you know?
I don't know, I haven't watched
Oh,
it
all
yet.
right, we'll find it next
The
week.
next one.
Okay, nice.
My guess is I'm going to guess it's like
A
a.
lead pipe.
No, I'm going to guess like a
A plumber.
Gandalf pipe.
Oh, see that? Yeah, that makes more sense.
And you
Smoke
can
the
like go.
pipe
And maybe if you can blow smoke into different shapes, then they come to life.
and the shapes. The shape, like basically, every episode is either penny crayon
Yeah.
or what else is it? Like a killer object.
I don't think anything has topped for a long time the high concept of the mulcher
Oh
that
yeah, the mulcher. Yeah,
if you kill someone and put them in it,
get their net worth.
you get their net worth in cold hard cash.
Yeah, I like that.
And
That's a great
that's a
idea.
2025 story. You
Yeah,
can't tell you, Ben. That wouldn't be the wealth
billionaires.
distribution that the worlds need. Can you imagine that? I won't say the name so we don't get done for libel. All right, notable billionaire. Oh, I've I've dropped some diamonds down here. If you were able to look over the edge of this thing and get them, you could become even more disgustingly wealthy. Bush. Ah, then then all the money would be like the Joker's parade raining down.
Amazing.
But yeah, that's
Uh,
it, Ben.
that's it. Apart from, as previously mentioned, film of the week, which is M3GAN 2.0, M3GAN 2.0, M3GAN 2, M3GAN the sequel, which is a 2025 American science fiction action horror in lowercase film. There's a sequel to the 2022 film M3GAN, M3GAN, um, and it is written and directed by Gerard Johnstone. It stars Allison Williams, Violet McGraw, Ivanna Sakhno, and Jemaine Clement. Didn't know he was in this, did you? When he popped up?
No,
Oh,
I
Jemaine
was very
popped up.
surprised to see him. It
Yeah.
makes sense that they have a comedy boss though after the first one. Like he's one of the
Uh,
highlights of the first movie.
and in terms of the plot, 2 years after M3GAN's rampage, her creator, Gemma, resorts to resurrecting her infamous creation in order to take down Amelia, the military-grade weapon who was built by a defense contractor who stole M3GAN's underlying tech. In terms of ratings, 6.3 on IMDb out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes, 57% audience score, 83% critic score. Letterboxd, 2.9 out of 5. And some choice reviews from Letterboxd. Jer says, the cuntification of Terminator and Mission Impossible made into one movie. 4 stars. Wafellow says, it's ridiculous. There's virtually no horror elements. It went full-blown action comedy, which is exactly what I wanted. 3.5 stars. Joe says, M3GAN versus Amelia, the campiest, cuntiest AI robot showdown of the century. 4 stars. And then I had to find a negative one because those were pretty positive. Sarah Ganao says, torture, creatively bankrupt in every department and 1,000 times longer than it should be. Not surprises,
A
surprisingly light.
thousand
A
times.
1,000 times. Not surprises, surprisingly light on its take on AI as this comes off like it was written using it. Have that, will you, M3GAN? Um, so yeah, 1,000 times, 1,000 times longer than it should be. I mean, does that mean the film should be
Hang on, what's the running time?
12
Exactly
seconds?
2 hours.
I said
Right,
12 seconds. I mean, that can't be right, can it?
so it's
You do the maths
120 minutes.
and I'll work it out. Sorry, you do the maths and work it out, and
It should be, according to that review, the film should be 0.12 minutes long.
I said 12 seconds.
Nailed it.
Did I nail it? That's not quite right, though, is it?
No, it's not a
0.12.
twelfth of it's
No,
not
it's not.
it's
I'll tell you what, though, mate. Quick
if
maths
there'd
for
been a hundred
me.
if there'd been 100 seconds and a minute, Ben, you'd been
Yeah,
bang on.
I would have been bang on, wouldn't I? I'm always the if ands or maybes. So yeah, I mean, this film was, as I said, I got a bit of fatigue from the marketing. The trailers kept popping up everywhere. I was looking. There was a M3GAN something on every social media platform I was looking at, and even though I was looking forward to the film originally, I think I got a bit fatigued by it. And the trailer, I felt like it gave away too much. But after watching it, I feel like it was a really well edited trailer because all the kind of like big moments and reveals and stuff, and there are a few things from like the finale that maybe are spoiled, but it kind of didn't sort of give away too much. And surprisingly, for a film that I was like, oh, I don't even know if I really care about this, I enjoyed it. And I was also gonna say I enjoyed it more than the original because even though I kind of like the original, I feel like this was overall more entertaining as a
Mhm.
film, despite the fact it got rid of a lot of the horror elements and yeah, that creepy M3GAN thing and that kind of, oh, what's she capable of and stuff is kind of replaced by quips and, funny moments and one-liners and, silly stuff. I still enjoyed it. I kind of felt like it was good. I thought the action set pieces were good. Everyone in the cast sort of had their moments, had their place. I think the girl, the young girl who's played by is Violet McGraw. Obviously, usually we see her and stuff, we go, "That's that little kid. We recognize her from this." Now she's obviously grown up a bit more, and she's developed into like a really interesting actress because I feel like her performance was pretty
She
nuanced,
can break people's arms, can't she?
breaking people's arms. Kind of like she was a pretty cool character. She sort of had a place, and even when she gets kidnapped, she didn't just get reduced to being like the
Just a
person they've got to
thing.
go and save.
Yeah.
The what's the word I'm thinking of? But yeah, so I
Like a
was
MacGuffin.
a MacGuffin. Yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. And you know what? It rips stuff off. There's a part in it which is basically the fight scene from Upgrade. Even some of the camera angles, like the camera kind of like dropping with a character and coming straight back up, and even a bit like Malignant at one point when a certain character
Has
is,
got a bit of malignant energy to it,
yeah,
hasn't it?
when there's
Yeah.
like the AI kind of like two personalities in one head. Like it has a lot of really interesting ideas, and I think it delivers them pretty well, I would say. Um, so yeah, that's my initial thoughts. At least, what about you?
The hot take I'm going to go with is I think fairly consistent across the two. Totally agree with you that it has largely abandoned horror and creepiness about it, but I feel that's almost inevitable, bearing in mind how a lot of the horror behind original recipe, Megan,
Mm,
is the secret element that you don't know that she's a killer
yeah.
robot and discovering that. I watched them in the wrong order. I didn't get a chance to watch the original until I'd already seen M3GAN 2.0.
Mm,
Going back and watching the first one, it may still be a slightly stronger movie for me, but not by much. Um,
yeah.
but bearing in mind, I am a person who just gave an explanation of 28 years later based on a sociological theory from the 30s. My hot take on the structure of M3GAN 2.0 is that the three main factions you see warring in this film effectively represent the three different endings you could choose in Mass Effect when you got to the end of that trilogy.
Oh,
There is
really?
yeah, there is a faction that wants to destroy, there is a faction that wants to control, and there is a faction that wants synthesis.
Ah, I see.
So I would say as we get through the plot, get ready for spoilers, everybody, especially if you know what Mass Effect is. I think the goodies that ultimately win the day are people who chose the synthesis ending
Okay.
of and the writers played that game and it shows.
Ah. You
I
also
I
feel like
think it's really interesting though. I enjoyed it.
there's been a few times where villains of different films recently, what am I thinking of? Maybe something like Mission Impossible, Final Reckoning, and this. And there are definitely more examples, but I feel like a lot of villains are becoming Ozymandias from Watchmen, where they're basically going, we are going to do this thing that will essentially kind of be a bad thing that we're doing. Well, it is
Yeah.
a bad thing, but it's for the greater good. It's because we want planet Earth to be better in the long run. And I
These
feel
people
like,
are terrible though. At least he had the right idea.
yeah. I'm gonna make. Well, I'm talking comic wise. I'm gonna make a giant squid appear and kill loads of people, and everybody think it's an alien invasion. Thus,
So they have to all be friends.
just we have to all be friends. Um, yeah, I don't know. I'm getting that a lot lately. Like, I think, what was the villain in the last Bond film, No Time to Die? Rami Malek. Was he a bit like that? I feel like he was, if I remember correctly.
He used the plot of Metal
Wasn't
Gear
mental. Yeah,
because
yeah,
he invented Fox Die,
yeah,
invented Fox Die for James Bond, and then
yeah.
was effectively going to use Metal Gear to stop everyone having nuclear wars.
That's right. Yeah, but there's a lot
Just
of
give
that, isn't there?
Hideo
There's
Kojima a Bond film, you idiots.
just give him a bloody Bond film. I'd love it. But yeah, I feel like a lot of these morally kind of grey villains and kind of like nefarious schemes are being introduced into these films to really try and make us bloody think about what we're thinking about what our heroes are doing, because most of our heroes are black and white. They just want to
Oh,
kill, put a bullet in your head.
everyone ever noticed that it's the heroes that try to keep the world exactly the same? Whereas,
Yeah,
yeah. Um,
yeah.
I mean, when you look at this, I'm sure there will be some arguments for this film and others in similar sort of genre cinema. That oh, is this a thinly veiled, pastiche of this politician or this tech billionaire? And I would say, in response to that, maybe tech billionaires and politicians should try being a little bit like over the top film villains rather than being the other way around.
Yeah, that'd be good. That'd be a nice step back, wouldn't it?
Build a hospital for fuck's sake,
Is
you
this person
idiots.
like a over the top film villain? I mean, this the villain in this was interesting. I mean, obviously we don't know who the villain is. Oh, but it's
Not
shake.
yet. We
But
know.
yeah,
We tell you
we
later,
do, we
everybody.
do, and we're gonna spoil this, of course. But the villain was like, I don't know, just such a bloody. I don't want to say wet flannel. That's probably out of order, but just so matter of fact and so like I
Such a
don't know.
loser.
Yeah, it was really weird. And then, but then obviously the Amelia character, Amelia robot as well. Like I kind of liked, and of course there are twists in this film, but I kind of liked how it was set up that what she was doing was what she was doing. Then there was like a fake reveal, wasn't there? There was
Yeah,
like a fake out, which was like, this is what's happening. And and again, I was like, oh, do you know what? I kind of like that as well. So I feel like, in terms of talking about the Mass Effect free options, there were kind of three directions that we could have had: evil Amelia, evil Megan, or evil Corporation.
yeah.
And any, I
And
feel like
the
any
army
of
are in there.
those would kind of been okay. What do you say? Sir?
And the army are in there as well.
And the bloody army in there as well. Yeah, bloody army. Um, oh yeah, the army with that dude. Uh, FBI dude as well. Oh yeah, FBI. What's that? We're gonna break into your house in the middle of the night. Jesus.
Phone me.
Um, so yeah, in terms of the cast, Allison Williams is back as Gemma, roboticist, um, advocate for the ethical use of AI, hates kids being on their phone because of what happened with M3GAN. M3GAN's still alive in some form or another. In it,
But
first,
did try and cut Daniel Kaluuya's brain out that time, so I don't entirely trust her.
oh yeah, of course. Yeah, you did, Alison Williams. Explain that. Violet McGraw is KD. That's Gemma's niece. So again, this is an interesting, kind of like character, an interesting relationship between those two because it's auntie and niece, but with a very sort of like sorry, mother-daughter relationship, and also one that never goes, "You ain't my real mum," like bloody Cat
Like
Slater and
they
what's her
got
name.
over that in the and she bloody was a mum,
Yeah,
wasn't she?
I'm glad. I'm glad we're over this, and she was her mum. Yeah. Amie Donald is M3GAN. And Jenna Davis is the voice of M3GAN. Brian Jordan Alvarez is so weird because he's like big on TikTok for like having filters on his face and being like some weird Spanish character. It's so weird seeing him in a film. He was in the first one as well, though, wasn't
Yes,
he?
both
Yes.
of her friends are from the first one.
Yeah. And Jen Van Epps is Tess, and then Ivanna Sakhno is Amelia. Autonomous military engagement, logistics, and infiltration android. Um, yeah. So
Yeah.
an
A little
interesting
bit of
setup.
trivia for you, Ben. Do you remember what Megan M3GAN stands for?
Oh my God, no. Um,
Getting the quiz in early.
Freegan. Friend in there somewhere? Oh, there's no F in there.
No, her name, she is a Model 3
Model
generative
3.
android.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, it just rolls off the tongue. Old Amelia, doesn't it? Autonomous military engagement, logistics, and infiltration android. And yeah, the setup for this is essentially that we've got Amelia, who's been used by the army in the Pentagon, specializing in new technologies, is given a demonstration of Amelia, who is this android, for
I like
basically.
this cold open. This is pretty cool,
It's a
right?
pretty
Because
cool
it's,
cold open, yeah. And again, it's not the American army essentially doing it because they've like loaned her to the Saudi Arabian forces
yeah, they've
for
kind of
them
said, like,
to
what's this? You can't bloody do this. And it
really
says,
do
don't
this.
worry, we've let another country take the flak for it.
Cheers.
We've just
Um,
lent them this robot.
yeah. And essentially, Amelia goes into this place on an infiltration, an assassination mission.
Yeah, so she's pretending to be like she's been captured as a hostage, right? So it shows you
Yeah.
bringing in a lady with a bag over her head like a hostage. They say, oh, you have to kill her because she was taking pictures of our secret military operations. And they supposedly shoot her and then go to put her in the bin or what have you. And then she immediately breaks free and starts just murdering everybody in this like bunker.
Yeah. There's a creepy crawl down a wall as well.
That's
Um,
pretty cool.
There's a bit where she's like delivering everybody a lovely drink who are playing like a are they playing cards or something like that.
And they're
Have a
playing
lovely
cards, it's like
drink.
bloody acid, drink it.
Have a drink. Oh, it's acid. Bang, 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 bang. Have that.
Yeah, I love how a robot has the sense of the humor to be like, put some acid in your drink, and then I'm going to stand there while you drink it and go, and then when anyone turns around, like, then I'm going to shoot you all to death.
I think that's acid. But then when she finds the target, reveals the target, obviously the US Army are watching through her eyes, and they're like, "She's bloody found the target. Mission accomplished, everybody."
Everyone's
But
like, yeah,
then,
doing big high fives.
but then Amelia bloody kills the target, who she wasn't meant to kill, and then we realize that Amelia, self-aware and fuming,
Steals
actually
all of his research.
steals all the research, which is like a gas. Is it
Just
like a poison
murder
gas?
you gas that he's
Murder
invented.
gas, and then escapes from control. And obviously, the U.S. Army go crazy; they're fuming. Um, and then we catch up with the characters from the first film. So Gemma living with her niece Katie in like amazing house, which is got AI is controlled. Like it's just a really modern house controlled with this AI kind of buddy thing. 3 grand a month and something like that.
Yeah, pays
Um,
decent. Hang on. You invented one of the world's most amazing robots, and you're also like a fair gene, and you're renting.
she went to prison now.
Oh, did she go to prison?
She did go to, but maybe that was it. She went to
Didn't she just get
prison.
told off, but it was ultimately
No,
okay?
I think she did go to prison for a little bit. Went to prison, um, and now she's out. She went to prison because obviously she created M3GAN, who then killed some people and a dog. She's become an author now, and she's an advocate for AI regulation because she's like, oh bloody hell, I know I created that M3GAN, but in fact, AI is ruining the world, and kids are on their phones too much.
Because it didn't it sort of go like through all the court cases that she went through. She got really happy talking about it. So then what? Put a bloody book out, wouldn't I?
Oh yeah, I mean,
Bestseller.
got stitched up and well, not stitched up, but went to prison. Bestseller, get the bloody book out. And now she's in partnership with cybersecurity expert Christian, because it's not Christian, is it? It's like
Yeah,
Christian,
Christian.
Christian Bradley, and they're working on like new projects together and stuff like that. Katie's getting a bit of flack at school because kids at the school have like, had their phones taken off of them. You can't go on your phone too much because actually it's rotting kids' brains. They've got to be
Yeah,
good.
I love the little scene we get where she goes, "How are you getting on at school?" Because she's homeschooled in the first one,
Yeah.
so she doesn't go to school, and her parents have just died, so she probably have a week off. It's not a Scream film where you go back to school the next day. Um,
Did your parents get killed yesterday? Yeah, but I've got to get on with it.
I've got maths tomorrow. Not only are you going to school, you're doing PE, you're doing everything, not even taking it easy. Um,
Oh God.
the Yeah, she goes to school and there's a lovely bit where it's very sort of kick-ass coded, I guess, when Hit Girl goes to school for the first time, where some bullies come over. She's like, "My phone got taken off me because of your bloody mom," and she goes,
Yeah.
"So now I'm gonna have to be a bully to get over." And she goes, "How about I just immediately break your arm?"
Immediately break your arm. No warning shot. Just
The
have your arm
second
broke.
you inconvenience Katie just slightly, it's always the arm. She's like a
Broken
swan.
arm. She is like a swan, straight for the arm. She'll
Straight
break.
her arm,
She's not protected.
chop.
She's not protected by the Queen either, so rest in peace, Swan. But so yeah, we're made out that because she's not using her phone as much, she's like doing other things. Got other hobbies now.
But she
Um,
does.
she
She
is
has
studying
taken
computer
interest in
science and
computers
stuff.
though, and Gemma is dead against. She's, no, there's no future in computers at all. Be a footballer.
Get a real job, will you? Computers in 10 years, no one's even going to know what a computer is. She's hidden a little interface inside uh, a photo frame,
A
a
photo
digital
of her
photo,
dead parents,
a
so she can
digital
still do
photo
some
frame.
code.
She can still do a bit of code. The bloody geek, the bloody square.
Don't say that,
Yeah.
Ben. Second you say that to your arm,
Oh my. I'll go. All right, Katie, how you
you get Ryan Gosling the from the Nice Guys.
Oh yeah, oh my
Gosling.
God. Broken arm, been goslinged by a swan. Uh, so yeah, there's all this interesting stuff. Obviously, the two people from the last film, Tess and Cole, are still working for Gemma, but Cole's got a little bit of frustration, like doesn't like Gemma being late, kind of like because they work from Gemma's home as well. There's a little bit of frustration there, especially when we get the addition of Jemaine Clement's character, who plays Alton Appleton, who is a corrupt tech billionaire whose company has made major breakthroughs in biomechatronics. But he turns up and he's like, I want to work with you. I want to
Yeah,
buy you."
he wants to work with them, and he's horrible, horrible sleazy bloke, and I think it's implied it's how thinly veiled is what company you're going for. Appleton.
Could
So
that be?
Appleton, and just after the warranty's finished, the battery goes to shit.
Oh yeah, they do say that as because he
Yeah.
wants you to buy a new one. So they're
And you have to
developing.
get a different charger every bloody time because it changes
Ah,
ever so slightly.
human.
Don't buy third-party accessories. For some reason, they don't work.
I got no bloody USB slots in me in me MacBook anymore. Sorry, but laptop,
In your Appletron
Appletron
laptop.
book. So they're working on some things, including this experimental robotic exoskeleton, which is like supposed to help people who do like manual labor, but I guess they can also probably use it to help people who can't bloody walk suddenly walk. But Alton Appleton, his thing isn't that, isn't it? He's got like a chip in his head.
He's got a spinal injury, so it does help him walk again by getting some of those things in there. But he also has the technology for those chips, so you can
That's
get
right.
stuff in your brain. So
That's right.
some of the technology that may or may not come up later. And
Yeah.
it's a bit like what I kind of loved about this little
Chekhov's
comment on
technology.
the film here is that there's technology in this that you can't go down the shops and buy today, but none of it is that far away from what exists, right? There are digital assistants in the house, and yeah, they can't open drawers for you today. Maybe they can, but
Yeah, maybe they can. Yeah.
it is something that is not beyond the realms of possibility. And the same, a bit like your MetaQuest AI is they're having a conversation, and we can't see he doesn't have like a virtual reality headset on, but it's clear that he has like an in-eye interface
Yeah.
where like he's basically talking to Gemma and her team, and all of a sudden he gets a call and is like, "Hang on, oh yeah, I'm looking at it
It's
now." He's like
it's
Minority Reporting, isn't he?
yeah. It's like near future technology, isn't it? It's not like
Yeah,
something where you're like, that's never gonna exist.
you
It's
can't go
stuff where
down
you're
your
like,
local Curry's PC World and get one, but
yeah.
if they announced that one was coming out this year, you wouldn't be like impossible. That's like magic.
Yeah, yeah,
It'd
yeah.
be like okay,
I wonder what the like because the robotic exoskeleton thing, like I wonder what similar models might exist in the real world
I
for
think
something
they
like that.
exist. I think there are exoskeleton things that you can allow people to certainly get more mobility. There are
Hmm.
prosthetics that you can have where if you have a missing limb, they can have things that you can just control with your brain. Arms that are either part of your body or separate. I saw a great program about
Oh wow.
prosthetics, and it was a lady who she was bedbound but was able to have a an arm that was that she controlled with her brain, but was attached to her bed frame, and she could use it to feed herself.
Oh
It
wow.
could pick up a spoon and feed her cereal. She could brush her teeth with this arm. There are other people who have robotic arms that can
Hmm.
function fairly as normally, and they're not a series of levers in your arm. It is you can use it with your brain. Some tremendously clever stuff
So
that's
not
happening.
not outside of the realms of reality.
Yeah, they're
Stuff
just
is not
they're
great.
not like I say you can't go down the shops and buy them, but these things exist.
So Gemma pretty much turns down the offer from Alton Appleton to work for him. And this is pretty much when that night is when the FBI break into Gemma's house. Well, obviously we don't know if it's the FBI
They're all
originally.
dressed up like Sam Fisher from Splinter Cell. It
Yeah,
looks like
yeah,
they're
I did
trying to
think that.
murder them.
Well, I was like, are any of them dead? Because one of them gets like proper electrocuted, and I guess this is supposed to show that M3GAN's AI is kind of still you is still within the interface of the house and still trying to protect uh
Katie.
Katie. I want to say Cody then. Katie in ways, and obviously makes a draw fly out to hit one of the guys. Makes the ice machine in the fridge just activate and trips people. It's like Home. It goes a bit AI Home
Yeah.
Alone,
She
doesn't it?
reveals herself very quickly, doesn't she? And she bumblebees Gemma. So Gemma's just watching a bit of telly, and
Mm.
then
Oh
the
yeah, the bit of the
television comes on
bumblebees.
and like
Hey, I'm trying to
basically
get your
says,
attention.
yeah, it like shows that you're trying to get people's attention, and then after she's done that set piece, she just talks and goes, "Yeah, it's me, Megan."
Yeah. Well, the FBI reveal themselves and kind of say, we're trying to get in here to try and put a bug on your laptop. Bit extreme, the way they came in, because of the robot from the opening scene, Amelia, is revealed to be from a prototype. The M3GAN like plans and the prototype, is that
Yeah,
right?
this is something that it was revealed when I watched it. It's not, I was like, when did anyone get those bits? Do you remember in original recipe, Megan, their
There's a
original
guy, wasn't there?
boss,
Yeah.
he has like an assistant and he copies all the
Yeah.
files.
Yeah.
He
So that's
copies all
good.
the files. So he is meant to have sold them to the black market arms dealer who's the one that not Megan, Amelia is hiding in his suitcase and she gets out
Yeah,
and
she
snaps his
comes out
neck in
and
his hotel room.
snaps his neck. She's in like half as well, isn't she?
Yeah.
Puts herself back together, just like what's his name from Beetlejuice? Beetlejuice. Um, so yeah, so basically they think Gemma's involved and that Gemma's kind of sold this before she got rid of it, but Gemma's obviously like, no, I didn't. Um, and that is when they basically say, we'll be watching you or whatever. But
Stalemate. Well, goodbye.
stalemate, well, goodbye. And when Mafregan reveals herself, that is when she kind of says, um, She
She
wants to
needs a
help.
body, right?
She
She'll
needs a
help.
body
It
in order
needs a
to
body
help.
because otherwise her brain only really functions if she has a physical body to continue learning.
Yeah. And obviously Gemma is very doesn't want to do that because of what M3GAN did before, and she thinks it might be like a big plan to try and, get a body back and then escape or kill or do whatever a M3GAN would do. But it does turn into like this espionage thriller with kind of all these moving parts and all of these different people who are good at different things, like Cole and Tess, like both kind of like being the backup team in the
Like the team. And
the team.
originally so Gemma puts it in like an Eve
Yeah,
from
like a little Eve, like a little Teletubby, I think they call it. I think they call it a little
yeah.
plastic Teletubby. And again, Gemma's keeping it quite secret at the moment that it's M3GAN, kind of just making out that
So
it's
she's just got a little
a
ruse
new AI.
Teletubby with her.
Yeah, I got a new little Teletubby, and essentially they go into the plan, which is they think that Amelia will go after, because essentially Amelia's been killing everybody who's involved with her creation
She gassed a
slash.
load of lads at an office, right? In a
Yeah,
cutaway.
we see her gas a load of people at an office, and then she might be going after Alton, aka Jemaine, at a party he is hosting.
Yeah.
And so yeah, M3GAN's like, I'll help stop Amelia in return for her physical body. They give it a little Teletubby body, and then we enter Act One, I guess, of espionage, science
Adventure.
fiction, adventure, thriller.
Horror
Um,
in small letters.
yeah. So small robotic doll. They go to the party. Gemma puts Gemma. I think the initial plan is for Gemma to kind of seduce Alton, um,
Yeah.
in a way
Yeah.
because he
You
does
give him
seem
a
like
yeah, didn't you say like you when you're noshing him off, just think this is for saving the whole world.
when you're noshing him off. Um, and when she's there, like she goes to a party and there's like a tech company, not startup, but like a big company party. She sees that Cole is there.
Just to
He's
hear him out.
joined Alton's company. She's gone there just to hear him out, but he's been given a key card, which is handy. Now they can enter the server room. But while this is happening, Amelia has gone to the party as well. She's disguised her. It says disguised herself as a woman. It's just
Disguise
like
herself as just a sexy woman.
disguised herself as a sexy woman to seduce Alton, which of course
Works
throws
immediately.
throws Gemma's plan into disarray. But it does work immediately.
Immediately.
It works immediately.
That's how she gets things done right away. When do you
I'm
need
gonna
this
do
done?
I'm
Immediately.
gonna do it
Brilliant.
immediately. Sits down to chat to him. He's got like one of those little twirly seats, like in The Last Crusade.
Yeah, let me just press this button, which takes us immediately to the sex room.
Immediately to the sex room. I feel that's risky because I feel like you could just you could accidentally press that button again while you're having sex and turn around and I don't
I think
know.
if you step away from the
Ah,
revolving thing, then you're all
it
right.
it
Because
stays
he's got
still.
loads of other gestures, like when he clicks his fingers, the little fire comes on.
Yeah,
He
and
points at the
I
little
think he
disco
raises the
ball.
lights in the air. So he's got like this interface that you can see with like obviously like he's basically like Terminator, isn't he? He's the Terminator in this scene. Not an evil killing robot, but he's got a lovely interface which tells him loads of stuff. He's got a sex mix. He's got a revolving bed, which doesn't go that fast. And there's a bit where he's on it and he's like, "Please stop anything." I'm like, "It's not even going that fast." I've seen
You don't
waltzers
want
down
you
Western
don't want
Supermare
you
that
don't want
go.
your sex bed to go that fast. You get centrifuged out, don't you?
You start doing those faces like the astronauts in Zero G.
Yeah.
Oh, are you enjoying this? Yeah, it's great. It's great. But yeah, I've seen waltzers down Western Supermare that go infinitely faster than that, and
It
I-
depends. It depends what you look like, I imagine. You know, if you want to be spun on a waltzer at a speed that no astronaut could survive, I would
yeah,
say, based on my own experience of going to the thing, if you go, if you were Amelia and you could disguise yourself as anything, maybe disguise yourself as a girl anywhere between 17 and 25 in like a little strappy top, and you will be spun at inhuman speeds.
in human speeds. If you don't throw up when you get off of it, the bloke
Like
who's spinning
basically,
you has
I'm
not
going to
done his
spin you
job.
so hard that the human body will become milkshake.
Oh, stop it! I've just had a churro. Please, I've had three
Please.
massive churros, the size of a
Oh,
stick of
it's
rock.
okay. You can't throw up candy floss. It's basically nothing.
Oh yeah, he'd be done for. Um, so yeah, Amelia just she cop. Oh yeah, so there's a bit where Alton like shows how much control he's got, I guess, by like essentially shutting down the electricity for like a few blocks for
Yeah,
a
so
few
if
seconds.
anyone was to
You hear,
steal this power from me, they'd be invincible, basically.
you hear people screaming when he does it. You're like, is he all right? People have like crashed their cars and stuff. So yeah, he's like Alton's company specializes in like cloud computing. So there's like the infrastructure controls a lot of stuff.
Basically, all the financial systems are tied
Yeah,
into it. So if
there's
you
one of
were
his.
able to pull this man's spine out and take control of his company, you could do anything.
You could do
Thankfully,
anything.
no one's planning to do that. So, uh-oh.
Oh, it's Amelia. She scans his eyeballs, so gets
That's really
access.
cool.
Yeah, she's waiting for
Because
him to open his eyes to scan his eyeballs.
like he showed like, oh, he's got good security, it needs a retinal scan. But of course, she's a wicked robot. She can just copy his
You
eye.
can just copy his eyes. Yeah, so she does that. There's a really cool bit where obviously she's threatening him, and she like switches his vision to hers, so he can just like see
That's really
himself,
cool.
which is cool. Yeah, and then yeah, she rips his spine out. He's got like a Doctor Octopus.
Yeah,
I suppose
because
he has got proper Doctor Octopus
yeah,
stuff
because we
going on,
didn't
hasn't
mention he was in a wheelchair in the first scene
he?
he's
Yeah,
in,
he
and then he's
was.
walking in the second one because he's now got
Yeah. So
cool exoskeleton
he is
power.
Doctor Octopus. He's got the chip. He's got like the exoskeleton thing in his neck. There we go. Doctor Octopus
Brilliant but
origin story.
lazy. Peter Parker. That's not his
Brilliant
voice.
but lazy. Yes, exactly.
Didn't we do this last time? And
Hang on a
failed to
minute.
do the Green Goblin. Finish it.
Hang on a minute. Didn't I do an experiment which killed my wife, but Spider-Man turned out to try to help? He's to blame.
Yeah, you should get him.
Get him. I tried to help over here. Fuck you, Spider-Man. I'm sick of it.
If you hadn't put me off, like when you, it's like when you've like done something that's entirely your fault when you're a kid, like you've died on Mario, and you like turn to your sister and you're like, I would have done that.
You laughed at something else.
You were breathing in this room.
I was
You
trying to parallel park, and an old lady looked at me, and now I fucked it up.
It's your fault.
Now I've reversed into the Jaguar. So it's your fault, old lady. Fuck's sake.
You perceived me trying to do something that I would have otherwise done perfectly, but I've messed up because of you.
Anyway,
Yeah, that's
rips Alton's spine out, fucks him up. And then so
yeah,
she's one
kills
step
him.
ahead.
Deed.
They're in the server room trying to upload a thing, which is obviously gonna prevent Amelia doing this. But then
And she
Amelia,
sees them, right? She perceives them a bit like deep cut coming in, everybody. A bit like when you're watching late 80s to early 90s virtual TV quiz show for children, Nightmare, and they've got
oh
the
yeah,
spyglass and they're looking at Lord Fear, seeing him talking about his plans and giving a clue for that'll be in a puzzle room that you're going to walk into just in a minute, and then he'll go, hang on, someone's spying on me. He looks deadpan down the camera and his eyes start glowing red and they have to throw it down. Throw it down, throw it down. Terrifying. That's what happens.
that is terrifying. A bit, I guess, a bit like Sauron when you put the bloody ring on.
Yeah,
Straight away.
sees you.
Yo!
You would never use that ring. I don't care how seductive the magic is. All it does it, mate, is go invisible. And instead of
Yeah,
seeing the people that are after you, everything goes wibbly wobbly, and you see the biggest, scariest man in the world breathing down your neck
breathe
the
it down
whole
your neck. It's
time.
not worth it, is it?
Not worth it. Just to hide. Just hide in the bushes.
Have you noticed the face Frodo makes every time he gets stabbed?
Comes ever so sharp, doesn't it?
That comes sharp. That's all right. I got the little chain link vest on. It's fine. Don't worry about it. I'll be fine. So yeah, Amelia goes into the server room and there's a bit where M3GAN's little robot like says something out loud. I'm like, that's too loud. We would have heard that, but she doesn't. She like replicates the voice on the walkie-talkie to make it sound like that they've already gone. So Amelia
Oh, the
just goes,
police and say, "Oh, there's
yeah.
no crimes in here."
Oh yeah, because the police are after the FBI are after them at this point as well. There's the guy who I don't know who this guy is, but he looks a lot like somebody. Who's he look like? The guy with the
So,
mustache. I kept thinking, I
Mike
recognize this.
Wozniak.
That's who it is.
No, it's
Oh,
not
that's who
Mike
he looks
Wozniak,
like.
but he
Okay,
looks a tiny bit like comedian.
okay. So also, I'm just looking at the cast now. Christian Bradley. His real name's bloody Aristotle.
Aristotle.
Aristotle Athari. Interesting. Tim Sharp, I think, is the guy we're thinking about.
Okay.
The sort of policeman. Yeah, so he basically every time he turns up, he's trying to he obviously thinks Gemma's involved at all times, and she's not really doing anything to disprove that, is she? She's always turning up when people are getting killed and when people are, right in the thick of it, I guess. And here is where we get a big chase sequence, isn't it?
Yeah, we get them. They get into a fast car. There's a sports car that original recipe Megan drives as well. So it's a
Yeah,
repeat of that thing, right? Where she
a
goes,
repeat of that.
I'll drive this
Do you
car.
remember what theme plays when this car starts up?
Oh, I don't.
Knight Rider.
No, of course it
Of
is.
course it is. And also, this is the moment from the trailer where M3GAN says, "Hold on to your vaginas," which, in the context of the trailer, I didn't like. I found it a bit egregious. I didn't enjoy it. I thought she
You're
just
like,
turned
there's
up.
no need for
There's no
that.
need to say vagina. No, it just felt a bit out of place, you know what I mean? But in this instance, it was far less egregious. I thought it was just fine to say hold on to your vaginas as she drove fast. And obviously she's trying so basically what she's trying to do in this instance is get home before Amelia gets there because she's going for
Katie,
Katie. Yeah.
because she knows she can predict that, oh, well, if they can't get us because we've escaped, she'll immediately go and try and murder your niece.
Yeah. Which is out of order, I say. Um, so yeah, she does get there first. No. She starts controlling the old the what's it called? The exoskeleton thing. And that exoskeleton thing attacks
Oh,
Tess.
tax tests, right.
Yeah. Like attacks Tess, but Katie like throws a load of water on him. And I think this is a bad design choice, right?
Yeah.
A little bit of water on your exoskeleton. Whoa! Get bloody Marv from Home
Marv.
Alone 2. Oh! Turn into a bloody skeleton. Um, so yeah, they managed to escape, and that is when
Well, they
is
go
that
into a super. Like,
yeah,
Mithrigan has
that's
built a
right.
super secret bunker.
I was
It's off
slightly
the
confused.
books.
I was slightly confused by this. So maybe talk to me like I'm an idiot. Not that I am, but I might be in this situation. Talk to me like an idiot. What's going on? Has Mafregan just like built that underground bunker and stocked it all herself
Yeah.
as
Well, she
a
doesn't like, not with hands. She's probably like, because it's
hoarded it?
revealed at this point, because it's commented
Yeah.
on a couple of times. How did Gemma get this nice house? Why is that like, why did she get it at such a reasonable price? What I can assume has happened is that Mithrigan, off the books in the years that passed since the
Yeah.
other film, she bought the house.
Yeah.
She bought the house, had work done to it that's completely off the books, and then has stocked it with everything. And then the
Yeah.
plan
Okay.
was that she would reveal herself when the time was
Yeah.
right. And because there's a primitive Mithrigan body down there, right? She's like a monster
Yeah.
Mithrigan.
And is her idea that she's just gonna keep everyone down there, keep them safe from while Amelia completes like the AI world takeover
Yeah, she
up on the
assumes it's going
surface
to be
level?
a she assumes it's going to be a end of Terminator 3 situation, right? Where Catherine
Yeah.
Brewster and
Come on,
what's the name, John
Mafregan.
Connor, just stay in their bunker and just live out Judgment Day.
Yeah. And Christian Bale gets angry for
That's
Christian.
later. He
That's
will get
later. So
angry in the
that's
future.
much later. He gets angry in the
He's the
future. Yeah, sorry,
doctor from
Christian.
Star Trek Voyager right now that he
Oh
is.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Good for you.
Good for you. You got right in my eye line. See, that's an example of someone getting in your eye line and putting you off. He was trying to do awesome acting, brilliant acting, and someone just
and he
looked at him wrong,
and he
glanced at
Otto
him.
Octavius is it, and is like,
Brilliant but lazy. It's horrible though, isn't it? It's pretty horrible. And I guess this reminded me a bit of what's the Cloverfield one with John Goodman in it. Oh,
21 Cloverfield Lane.
world's over. I've made a lovely bunker. Stay down here. It's quality.
If you try and get out, I will put you in a barrel of acid.
Yeah, yeah, that's exactly it. That's
We
pretty
should
much what
do 21
Freakin's like.
Cloverfield Lane. It's good.
Yeah, yeah, we should. It is a good one. Um, so yeah, down here. I mean, to be fair, she's talked out of it pretty quickly. Emil, Mafregan
Well, like
is,
Katie goes off to have a sulk, almost breaks Gemma's arm because that's another thing that she can do. Don't
yeah,
forget.
just a click of her fingers, she can break your arm.
And then she goes to and she meets Megan in her incomplete body, and they
Yeah.
have a heart to heart where they
How would you
reflect
just
on some
how do
of
you
Megan's
describe her
programming, right?
incomplete body? She's like a cross between like
An office chair
a,
and Quasimodo.
a waltzer and Quasimodo. Reminded me a bit of like when old Brundlefly turns up halfway through and he's all like embarrassed about being how disfigured he is, but like a
Yeah,
robot version of that.
yeah,
Oh, don't
in
look at me. I
rags.
got a vomit on my food. A
Yeah.
bit like that.
Yeah,
Would have
she's,
been
oh, I didn't want you
scary.
to see me like this yet. I'm not finished. But
Yeah.
this is where, and they've reflected on Megan in the past and basically said, oh no, what she did was her programming was faulty, but she wasn't real. She just misinterpreted that her job was to protect you, Katie, and she took that too far and too literally. But she didn't actually care
Killed,
about you.
killed some kids.
And
What? Did she kill the kid? She just made him scared and he ran into a car, right?
yeah, and
Yeah.
also, he was a bad kid.
Yeah.
As
Deserved it.
Megan herself said, you know what happens to bad boys, Ben?
Go on.
Grow up into bad men. So you
Ah.
push them in front of a car. That's
Get
what
in
you
front of
do.
that bloody car, you mug. Um,
So yeah, they have a conversation, and Katie reveals at this point, she goes, I've always believed that you're not just a result of programming. You really did care about me, and yes, you could keep us down here, and that is the logical, safe thing to do. But is it the right thing to do? No, the right thing to do is stop it, and she convinces her.
mm, yeah. Um, Convinces her, which is, and then everybody else, especially Cole and Tess, pretty much override Gemma, who's like, I don't want to do this.
I don't want
Freegan's
to make a
dangerous.
I don't want to make a M3GAN body with all the exact materials I need to make one right here.
Yeah, because they're like, oh, even if we could do it, we haven't got the materials. And then like a door opens and they've got like an advanced lab, I guess, in order to make Freegan a lovely body.
All
Um,
that she needs to fight Amelia as well. They have like super reinforced
oh, it's insane.
skeleton,
It's insane, isn't it? Super reinforced skeleton. And obviously they develop a Freegan system so that she's like super good at fighting, and she's got a lovely outfit, a lovely new outfit to put on as well.
and they've
Just
made
and
her a
she wants to
little bit
taller.
taller, as if the actor has grown in the
What?
years that have passed.
Well, Freegan asked for her body to be taller as the now 15-year-old Amie Donald had gone through a growth spurt.
There you go.
There we go. Look at
She
that.
wished she was a little bit taller.
She was
AKM was a
she was a baller.
baller. She had a girl. If she did, she would call her. She goes on to describe a rabbit and a bat and a hat
Yeah.
that she. But for now, it's just the first demand.
So this is a bit complex, but Amelia's aim is to merge Alton's cloud computing infrastructure with a primitive rogue AI built by Xenox. Is that how you say it?
Xerox, not
Xenox,
Xerox,
not
a
Xerox. No,
photocopying company not called Xerox, who invented
Xenox.
a
And
an AI in the
the
1980s, which has been
motherboard is in isolation, and after decades of machine learning, it can grant master control to any technology dangerous.
yeah. And if
Um,
you give master control to this insane AI that's been locked up since the 80s, it's going to be curtains for
Curtains,
mankind.
bloody curtains. Um, when do they involve Christian as well? Because I think they're saying because Christian knows the motherboard's location.
Christian is like at a he's meeting the Chinese ambassador and they need to go and rescue him because
That's
that is
right.
the next person that
That's the next
Amelia's going
person
to go
who's on the
after.
target. Yeah. So they go to this tech conference, and here as well, Mafregan goes in on her first official mission with the new body, of course. And again, like on the trailer, from how she was dressed and that, I was like, how's this gonna bloody fit in? Why does Mafregan look and act like this? And even in the trailer, there's a bit of her dancing. But I feel like the way she looks, the way she's dressed, and even her dancing, it all kind of fits in to this kind of
Yeah,
like little mission that they've got going on.
injects a
She,
poor dancer with knockout drugs, I guess.
yeah, so they're all dressed up. So there's
Not
obviously
Winderline, dead.
it's like an AI tech conference as well, obviously, and again, it's good because it's not tone deaf because it does show people outside protesting, with signs saying "Down to AI, we hate AI" and all that stuff. So
We
like,
here, I remember that time a couple of years ago when it literally did kill several people.
yeah, remember that? There's a
Remember that
bit in the
man who
tra-
got chopped in the face in a lift?
there's a bit in the trailer where there's like a man dressed as Mafregan who says like, "Oh, we love her, she's great." That wasn't in the film, was it?
No, not that I
No, it wasn't.
recall.
It was weird. I was waiting for that bit. So yeah, Mafregan dresses up as a kind of like a
A
dancer.
dancer. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's walking around basically using her facial recognition software to try and identify Amelia. But Amelia is in like a glass cabinet, hidden as
Dressed as like a silver
Ult-
robot from the
dressed
days
as
of yore.
like silver robot from day, like a comic accurate Ultron, a little
Yeah,
bit.
like a bit like an Ultron, complete with like robot punch action that she
Yeah,
can do.
robot punch action and long spiky stick.
Rocket punch.
Rocket punch, yeah. Oh yeah, rocket punch. Oh yeah,
I
because the hand
love
comes back.
rocket punch. It's so
No, it's good.
good.
It's good. Um, so yeah, so what happens is they're trying to keep
Um,
a low profile, and that is when the lights kind of focus on all those robot dancers, one of which is M3GAN. So even though she's trying to keep a low profile, she does a good job because she like blends in and does a little robot dance.
but then is too good at robot dancing and does a robot dance move that only actual robots can do.
Like
Spin your
free
head the whole way around like
spin
an
your head the
owl.
other way around and everyone freaks out. I feel like if that happened in real life, you'd just be like, how'd they do that?
That's a magic trick.
That's a
Yeah.
magic trick. What's
You're like,
happened there?
it
You
looked
wouldn't
like you
go,
turned your head the whole way around, but
oh my
I've been
god, they're a
tricked.
robot. Kill them. So it pretty much all kicks off. Amelia is in that little robot suit. She assassinates the Chinese ambassador who's meeting with Christian.
Does she
She's
kill the Chinese ambassador with robot punch, or does she kill him with
stick, I
something
think.
else?
I don't know
Stick.
actually. Good point.
No,
Stick.
the FBI guy gets
Well,
sticked, but
he
he's
gets
fine.
impaled, but I feel like maybe Chinese officer gets shot or gets his head. Basically, Amelia, the way that she kills people is either snap their head,
Yeah.
stab, or off screen does something to them so their blood splatters onto something else. Who knows? Punch square in the face.
Yeah. With I think that's my favorite kill in the film, though. Robot punch is so good. Just
Robot punch
rockets
is
the
brilliant.
hand off. And it comes back. She should have kept that
Yeah,
power.
it does.
Robot punch.
Um,
If I could
so
have just one robot power pen and I wasn't allowed any of the mad superpowers like Dr. Octopus arms
yeah,
and in an inappropriate
robot
blame,
punch.
then robot punch would be so good because it'd be so useful.
It would be useful. Yeah, you could punch people and no one would ever know it was you.
If someone rode past you being annoying on a bike, you could just robot punch them in the back of the head.
KO'd. Um, so what happens? Because I think after this,
So,
they
um,
assassinate, but then Amelia escapes, but takes Katie with her, like kidnaps Katie.
yeah, and Megan can't save her because Gemma, because she doesn't trust anybody,
Yeah,
especially not that robot that tried to kill her that time. Not tried to kill her, actually, if you remember from Megan 1. She intended to paralyze her, cut out her tongue, and then
yeah,
basically have her like palliative cared for the entire what so she could just live peacefully with Katie.
yeah.
So she doesn't trust her for those reasons.
As you would.
So
Would
she's installed an inhibitor chip, just what Dr. Octopus had that time.
yeah.
Or
It's
when
okay
John
because
Connor
I've got this.
forbids the Terminator from doing any kills, and
Yeah,
she keeps seeing the data of like risk of fatalities too high, so she can't pull the trigger
yeah.
and stop. Because there's anti-robot guns that the FBI have that would work.
Oh yeah. So they got like the anti-robot guns, which are like EMP. Is that how you say it? EMP?
Yeah,
Is it EMP?
yeah.
That like obviously would just take down a robot. And again, this is like, oh, suddenly the stakes are high. Um, so obviously M3GAN is angry about this and upset that she had the inhibitor chip, blames Gemma, and now they have to go and
I
do
could have done that.
I could have done
You...
that. I could have taken the shot. And now they go for part two of the mission, mission two, in the
They
well,
do have Chris John with them now, though.
Christian with them, and he says the motherboard's hidden in Xenoc's old HQ, protected by a security system, and it's like proper underground base, like what's it called in Resident Evil the movie, the
The Hive.
Hive. The Hive is just like that, and they go, "You need my hand to get in," and he goes, "Well," and my freaking goes, "Why not make me one then?" And they go, "You know what? This lab's so good, we can make a hand replica for you that would replicate the heat signature of me old hand and then allow you in there to destroy the motherboard with an EMP thing and rescue Katie." That's right, isn't it?
Yeah, that's right. Rescue Katie and save the day effectively and destroy the motherboard so everything's safe.
But then we get reveal part one, where Christian obviously is not wanting them to do that. He incapacitates Tess, like shoots her with one of those guns. I thought she was dead, but no, apparently she's all right. And he reveals to Gemma that Amelia is under his control, because I guess that's kind of throughout. There's a lot of like, is Amelia just like self-aware and she's working for herself, or is she still under control of somebody and we don't really know?
She's
Um,
just a robot which is following Chris John's
well,
orders,
Christian's
which
bloody
he's
orders.
done it. So basically Ozymandias style, he will
Yeah.
forge peace because both China and the US will think there's a bad robot that we need AI sanctions.
Yeah. So he deliberately created a manipulator to stoke the fear of AI, which he believes must be under complete human control. So he intends to persuade the leaders of the G20 to approve regulations, ensuring that AI is eliminated from the global economy.
Yeah.
Um,
And everyone's been captured. So Gemma's been captured.
yeah, everyone gets bloody captured. And when does M3GAN start the?
Well, M3GAN, it turns up off screen, has been captured by the
Oh
baddies
yeah,
as
but
well.
what part was it? We didn't do the bit where M3GAN flew in on her little.
Oh yeah, that's when they get into the base.
That's when they get
So
into the base. Yeah.
Cody is on a tour of the beat and just beats up a tour guide and then hides in the air vent,
Yeah.
Bruce Willis style.
Oh yeah, but then he chloroforms himself.
Yeah, Gemma gets yeah, Gemma gets captured. M3GAN is gets a shock to the system, and then you see her next brought into the room like battered. Gemma tries to do something, but Megan is feral and like
Megan
jumps
goes
on her
feral,
before
like
being
attacks
shot to
her.
pieces.
Yeah, and her like jewels hanging off. So we think at this stage, M3GAN's been absolutely battered. Um, yeah. At what point do we get? Oh wait, it's not quite yet. When we get like a sort of fake out. Um, so
Horrible
Chris,
Christian says, "Oh, I'm going to turn you, Gemma, into basically
my slave.
my
I'm gonna
slave.
put.
I'm going to put a neural implant in your brain.
Didn't he say something like, "So you could be a lot more manageable"? He said something
Yeah, a
like,
lot more manageable." And so, "Oh, we could be a couple if you want." She goes, "Oh, you're not my type."
he goes,
And
"My team will look into that."
yeah, because that was a little gag we had earlier on where she goes, I think they are flirting in the early part of the film. Meg goes, "Oh, he's not your type anyway," and she reveals that she knows Gemma's Pornhub history.
Oh yeah, that's right. That's my private. That's my private information. How dare
I
you?
was in incognito mode. How did you
I was
know?
in incognito, man. How could you reveal that? And anyway, some of the stuff I was looking at was just research. So
So I can understand the things that I'm not into,
yeah,
actually.
so I could go. That's not for me. All right.
Yeah.
Thanks.
I like
So
more respectful sex. Thanks.
yeah, 3 minutes of missionary, and I'm out of there. Uh,
And only for the purposes of having children. Thank you.
yeah, yeah,
Otherwise,
fun.
I get my kicks above the waistline. Thank you for your information.
Oh yeah, nipple play. Everyone's into that. Uh,
Yeah,
so,
that's a deep cut, Ben, because that is actually a line from
wait.
that is a line from One Night in Bangkok, the song sung by the lady from Friday the 13th, the
Oh my
series.
God, that is a deep cut. That is not only is that a deep cut, that is the deepest Andy Conduit Turner cut I could have ever have wanted.
Oh,
So
it gets
thanks for
deeper,
that.
Ben. It's also a cover of a song from a musical about
Yeah,
chess,
remember that.
which I've learned.
I've listened to that song more than once, thanks to you.
It's on my
Um,
playlist.
so so yeah, the neural implant, but unbeknownst to Christiane, Mafregan has uploaded herself into the implant before her body was shut down, and basically like her little feral attack on Gemma was a fake out. Um, and now she's inside the neural implant, and she can essentially take control of Gemma's body. I guess it's like Venom slash upgrade style.
Yeah. And basically, all the technologies we've seen, like in a James Bond movie, where you know everything that Q gives him is going to
Yeah,
get
it's
used
gonna
at
be
some
a
point.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
So not only you've got the neural implants, so she can be in her head, and you've got an exoskeleton.
So she can do superhuman fighting essentially.
She can do her own version of Robot Punch, but her arm doesn't come off,
Yeah.
obviously.
So Cole manages to find Katie, but he just like stumbles across her, and they essentially go to Amelia. So Amelia, at this point, we're like, oh, they can use Amelia as an ally. Interesting.
Because the
And they
original Megan programming is inside
original.
her.
So they use her residual programming to turn her onto their side, but then everyone turns up and just starts
Batters
electrocuting
her.
Amelia with those cattle prod things, and Amelia reboots and goes back to being essentially reboots and becomes the character that we thought she was at the start, like a
Yeah, so
self-aware.
basically, in some way, her programming was, oh, actually, you're doing this. And she goes, oh,
Yeah,
okay, default now. I'm a baddie that's going to do the original evil plan that I was going to
The
do.
original evil plan, yeah. So Christian is like on a Zoom call to the UN, telling everyone to be quiet. I'm on a really important
Oh, bit
Zoom
of
call.
shush, guys, please.
Can everybody just bring it down a notch? Because I'm actually on a call to the UN. And obviously, he hears Amelia killing everybody. And he says to the UN, can I just have 2 minutes, please? And sees that obviously things have gone to shit. So now, 2 minutes ago, he was on top of the world. Plan was coming together, talking to the UN. Now, he's got an activated self destruct on the whole bloody
A
establishment.
big Resident Evil irreversible
Yeah.
5 minute countdown.
The bit where Gemma like fights all of the guards and stuff is first of all, it's very reminiscent of Upgrade because it's someone whose like abilities have been improved by like an AI chip or something like that. There's a part there where she gets like KO'd
She's knocked
and
out, and the hairs over her face a
the
bit
hairs are
like
this is great. The hair over her face and her feet like turned inwards. What is that? That that vision is something. Is like I think it's a it's a manga thing or it's like an
it's a
anime
very
thing.
manga way of drawing people's like stance, I think. But
Stance like
as you
someone
said,
who's
it is
proper dangerous. Like if someone turned up with their hair over their face and their feet turned inwards, you're like, oh shit, I'm gonna kick my ass.
yeah.
It's a
But
bit like
as
that.
you said, it's like good old backwards boy. What's his name?
Malignant guy. Yeah, what is his name?
Oh
What is the
no,
malignant guy's name? But yeah, it's very reminiscent
backwards
of
Bobby,
that, where like somebody's fighting and they're essentially unconscious slash just a passenger in their own body.
as Megan beats the shit
Gabriel.
out of
Gabriel
everybody.
is the
Gabriel, thank God.
little
Yeah.
scary Gabriel. So it's very reminiscent of that. Upgrade, it was very reminiscent of, especially the way the camera moved in this particular scene. Like at one point, she like just stands up, and the camera kind of like does this kind of tilt thing.
Sits up with her, right?
Yeah, I mean that was a bit of a rip off, but I still kind of enjoyed this bit. It was fine.
Yeah, it's
No, it
fun.
was fun. Sorry, it was fun.
Fun little bit. And then Christian has Katie sort of hanging over for
Oh yeah,
a
bit
weak
where he,
tech bro. He has the strength to like choke slam a little girl over the
yeah,
edge
he's
of a
like,
precipice.
they're like, you're not going to do that. You're not going to kill a little girl. He's like, we'll soon find out, I suppose. It's
Megan's got a
clear
plan
that
though, because she points out that her and Gemma weren't protecting Katie. They gave her the skills to protect herself. And for the eagle-eyed, we saw when she broke that girl's arm at school, there's a Steven Seagal poster.
yeah, of course. So they drop in some Steven Seagal titles in the dialogue to try and activate her for Katie to go, oh yeah, just like Steven Seagal. They don't mention Steven Seagal's ill-advised reggae album. You ever heard of
No,
that?
but I think we are gonna have to play a game of
Yeah. I
let's
think it's like a
should we
dance.
get
I
some
think it's like
Steven Seagal films?
yeah, what was it? It was oh God, why can't I even think of one that it said?
She
It
has like did she
was
say like we're under siege here?
Under Siege was one.
Oh bloody hell, here's a meeting of minds. One of the things I found here, Steven Seagal versus Justin Lee Collins.
Oh my God. What? Was that a film? Yeah.
Apparently it's a documentary or something along
It's a
those lines.
documentary when they went head to head. Well, definitely don't want to watch that. Executive Decision. That's a good one.
Executive Decision,
Executive Decisions one. Under Siege. Under
Under Siege
Siege
2,
two.
obviously.
Under Siege 2. Hard to Kill is obviously the one that the poster that she's got in her
Yeah, and just say because you're very
pocket.
hard to kill.
Yeah. So essentially
Uh,
she gets the hint, breaks Christian's arm, but then they go and try and like reverse the self-destruct, which they can't, and then Christian like runs away, locks them in, but then Amelia turns up.
has locked himself in with Amelia, who just
You're
dumps him to
not
custard.
you're not locked in. I'm not locked in here with you. You're locked in here with me.
Yeah, exactly. And then she turns him into milkshake like someone who's done the waltzes too long.
Exactly. Does him in. And then we get like I guess the final part of this mission, which is for M3GAN to go to where the motherboard is, and she's got the EMP in her arm that she's going to
That
trigger.
Gemma built to
Gemma built,
destroy
yeah,
her, to betray her, and blow her up when she still thought she was bad.
yeah. Um, so yeah, that's the final thing. And this is when we get like a weird sort of fake out, isn't it?
Yeah,
Is this when this is revealed?
Megan's gonna originally blow herself up, but this is when both Katie and Gemma both go, no, no, we're your friend now. We love you,
When's the
Megan.
when's the fake out bit where I think it's when Christian randomly just starts trying to tell them that he thinks M3GAN's controlling Amelia,
Yeah,
isn't it?
that was earlier. That's why they did. That was why Gemma put that bomb in because Christian's like, oh, I don't trust her. Maybe
That's
she
right.
was
That's
driving her the
right.
whole time.
But
But
again, it did make me go, "Oh,
it's
I
yeah,
see."
I did. It did get me. I had to think about it. It's like, oh, maybe Megan is bad and she's gonna go back to her villainous roots.
Yeah, which would have been a fine direction for it to go in. Um, but yeah, this final confrontation between McFreegan and Amelia, they have a bit of a dust up, have a bit of a fight. But then there's a bit where Amelia essentially says to McFreegan, "We could be together as two really great robot mates taking over the world, destroying the world." And McFreegan goes, "Yeah, all right, sounds good." But as soon as she
Sucked in. I've
gets
got a bomb. Dead.
sucked in, I've got a bomb, triggers the EMP, destroys them both, destroys the motherboard, and essentially the
Because
good
yeah,
the
Megan proves not to be a match for Amelia in a fight, right? Because Amelia, like lots of villains in sci-fi lowercase horror movies, she does have Sherlock Holmes powers. She can predict every
oh
move she's
no,
gonna
not the
make.
flu fight prediction technology. Not that again. Oh, I can't bloody. That's how I feel fighting some bosses on certain games. Where I just knows what I'm gonna do. For God's
Does
sake,
it ever get into your head? Do you think the PlayStation knows what
the
buttons I press a
PlayStation's
fraction of a
cheating.
second before I do? It
It's
has the
cheating.
capacity to cheat.
It's making me lose. Um. So yeah, everybody wins, and then later on, Gemma testifies to U.S. Congress, urges AI regulation that allows humans to cooperate alongside it rather than controlling it.
The synthesis ending.
The symphysis ending that Mass Effect predicted all along. But then at home, she finds that McFreegan has installed a bloody backup of herself on the computer in the form of the
She's
little
clippy now.
the little word. Yeah, what is it? Like the little.
She's
Oh yeah, because there's a lot
she's
of stuff. There's a lot of talk about paper clips in this, isn't there? What's the analogy that they talk about with
Oh,
paper
something
clips?
about making infinite paper clips and it would destroy the world if you tell
Yeah,
an AI to make paper
infinite
clips or
paper
something
clips.
along those lines. But then
Yeah,
Microsoft Office tool and Word document helper Clippy turns up and becomes Megan, and
yeah.
she's fine actually.
And she's fine. She's like, I'm assuming she doesn't know what happened in the finale and in the base. So no,
Depends when she did the upload, I
yeah, that's
guess.
true. Yeah, but yeah, it's interesting, and I guess it definitely sets up a Mafregan free, which would
Actual
be what? So if
Mithrigan.
number one kind of horror, number two sci-fi action, what would number three be? Romance.
Genuinely, I think put her in another franchise. Put her in Fast and Furious. Imagine that. We've got that big finale coming up. She just robot punches Jason Momoa and joins La Familia.
Well, if Fast and the Furious has gone to space, has it gone to space?
Yes.
Then this is simply the next step. Um, but yeah, that's Mafregan. Have you got any name game, or should we do some trivia, or what have you got?
Should we do a little bit of trivia? Because I think, obviously, we must have, when we did Mithrigan, we must have done the the trivia from this one.
I'll tell you what, of all the trivia, I kind of mentioned the few things that we've kind of got all the way through.
I can play
The bits of trivia.
I can play a different
If you got a different
robot game with you if you like.
hell yeah, let's do a different.
Right,
Let's do
I
a
am
robot
going
game.
to bear with me a second. I'm going to read you, obviously, slightly anonymized synopses. Well, I won't mention any names from other robot films. You're gonna have to
Okay,
guess what this one is.
okay, I like it.
So here's the first one for you. Robot, name redacted, moves to the city to help his friend, name redacted, with his toy manufacturing enterprises, only to be manipulated by criminals who want to use him for their own nefarious purposes.
Is that um short circuit?
It's not Short Circuit, it's close though.
Johnny Five.
It's
Is
Short
it?
Circuit 2.
Oh, for God's sake, that's a win. That's a point, surely.
Yeah, that counts. Half a
Sure, it's
point.
it's not short circuit, but it is short circuit too. It's a different plot though, isn't it? Short
Yeah,
Circuit too.
genuinely one of the saddest films I've ever seen.
25.
I'm genuinely very upset when he gets when he when he gets battered by those
Oh,
burglars. He thought that guy was his friend,
oh
and he
yeah.
beats him up with baseball bats, and he reformats himself with bits and pieces from Radio Shack and becomes an evil punk version, hangs them from a crane, and then
Oh.
dies in Ben's arms. Don't dwell on the fact that he is a white man round up for that film.
Oh yeah.
Um, but the heartbreak that you go through on that bit after he's driven along and done the chase scene to Bonnie Tyler's Holding Out for a Hero, and then when he almost dies, but then when he's able to restore, and then we see him be have his personhood and American citizenship declared on him. He's all gold at the end, and he jumps for joy. What an
Gold.
emotional high that is.
Oh,
We'll
right.
never see his
You might
like again, Ben.
you might have a list. You might have a list for me, but
I'm
I'll do
coming
that.
up. I've
Oh,
literally come up with this game on the spot. So if you've got one,
that's
go
good.
for it.
I've got one. I've got one. So how about this? In the near future, crime is patrolled by a mechanized police force. When one police droid, name redacted, is stolen and given new programming, he becomes the first robot with the ability to think and feel for himself. Oh,
I mean, naturally you'd say RoboCop, but there's
dumb.
not other. Oh, is it Chappie?
Yes, it is Chappie. Well done. Correct.
Chappie. Although I've sort of burned
You've got it.
RoboCop in saying that.
Yeah.
I've got another one for you though.
Okay.
A group of teenagers that work at the mall all get together for a late night party in one of the stores. When the mall goes on lockdown before they can get out, the robot security system activates after a malfunction and goes on a killing spree. One by one, the bloody hell this is long. The three bots try to rid the mall of intruders. The only weapon the kids can use are supplies in the other stores. If they can make it till morning, when the mall opens back up, I rated this film 4 stars.
It's Chopping Mall.
It's shopping mall, of course.
Of course it is. This one that I'm about to mention, definitely not a horror film, but always kind of freaked me out a little bit. I don't know why. I think it's the
Okay.
look of the particular bot. In 2035, a technophobic cop investigates a crime that may have been perpetrated by a robot, which leads to a larger threat to humanity.
Oh, is it iRobot? iRobot.
iRobot. Aren't they creepy, the robots in this?
They're horrible. Yeah.
They got horrible faces. I mean, do you remember what one of them's like? I don't know. He chases one of them, doesn't he? I can't remember what happens, but I don't know why. He used to kind of freak me out a little bit. Weird.
Okay. Love these robots. Here's another one for
I
you.
love these bloody robots.
Here's another robot film.
Okay.
Amiable slackers, names redacted, once again roped into a fantastical adventure when, name redacted, a villain from a place sends evil robot duplicates of the two lads to terminate and replace them.
Two lads. Two lads getting
Two
killed by a
lads.
robot. Is it a Bill and Ted film?
It is Bill and Ted.
Yeah. Which one is it?
Bogus Journey.
Oh, Bogus Journey. Okay. Very nice. Any more?
Um, I might be getting into the deep.
Yeah.
Actually, I've got at least one more I can do for you, Benny. You
Okay.
ready? Hang on.
Okay.
If I could
Well,
just
I
type.
mean,
Then
we like deep cuts. You've been doing some pretty good.
here's one for you.
Okay.
When tragedy strikes his remarkable robot and beautiful girl next door, lonely teenage genius Paul tries to save them by pushing technology beyond its known limits into a terrifying new realm.
Is it Deadly Friend?
It is Deadly Friend.
Hey! It's because I was thinking of that. Okay, one more for you.
Got him.
A young programmer is selected to participate in a groundbreaking experiment in synthetic intelligence by evaluating the human qualities of a highly advanced humanoid AI.
Oh, is it Ex Machina?
It is Ex
Where you
Machina. Yes.
sometimes beat the shit out of General Hux for being a bad bloke. Um, I tell you what, Ben, this is one that for my money we should probably do in the future. I don't expect you to get this one because it's a deep cut. This is a 1995 film from Mark Rosman. Here's what I'm telling you. It was supposed to be a game.
Oh yeah.
Teenage boy gets a robotic opponent after winning a laser tag contest. However, the robot is not what it seems. This is a film called Evolver. and it's about a boy who wins a laser tag competition and gets given a robot who basically every time the robot is beaten makes itself better and better and better and
My
becomes
God,
a devastating enemy. What a time.
what a time! What a time! Okay, last one for you then, because I
Go
just
on
thought
then.
of this one.
And I've got one more for you as well.
Oh, you're it's gonna it never ended. This isn't a film. That might help.
Okay, it's not a
In a
film.
post-apocalyptic landscape of the Scottish moors, a woman attempts to survive as she is. Well, this is probably the wrong description that they said. I'm going to say as she is pursued by a small dog-like robot.
A small dog-like robot. It's not a film.
It's not a film. It's an episode of something.
Oh, is it from a Black Mirror or something?
It is from Black Mirror.
I won't get the
You not
name of
know
the
it?
episode.
Well, I would say it's my favorite episode of Black Mirror. It's Metalhead, starring Maxine Peake. It's in black and
Of
white. I don't know if you
course.
remember this one, where there's a horrible little like robot, one of those little robot dogs. You know, like where you see videos of people kicking it
Yeah.
over and then it don't get up. But it's horrible. It's got like a knife, got like a bloody gun.
A
It's a horrible,
knife.
it's a horrible little like it's just after her constantly. She cannot get away from it. It's
Okay.
horrific.
It's worth taking. There are so many
Oh, it's the best one.
robot
It's my
robot
favorite.
films. There's one
It's
of
the
them named after my erstwhile departed friend. There's one about a robot dog called Axel, AXL, and he
oh.
says, "Yo, send it."
Is
This
it
is a robot
a
police
nice
dog.
robot dog then? Yeah.
Yeah, he's nice.
Okay. Do you say you have one
I
more?
haven't seen it. I know more about it than I should. My last one for you, Ben. Covered this on an episode. The space shuttle returns to Earth, but some of the equipment brought back begins to behave strangely. Scientists are unsure what is happening and decide to take all necessary precautions in a description that gives fuck all away.
That gives nothing away. Can you give me a clue? So we've done it. We've
Um,
done an episode on it.
yeah, it's an important message about not going camping in space with Bruce Campbell.
Oh, Moontrap.
Moontrap.
Thank you. That was a very good clue. I wouldn't have got it at all from that description. There we go then. That was fun.
That was a good little impromptu game, wasn't it?
Yeah, yeah, I like it. I like it because sometimes name game can be difficult. So especially with sequels. So it's a good.
When it's just one we've already done and then two.
I'll tell you what, that's a good thing. But let's do that from now on. If we're struggling with name game, let's do a little guess the movie that might be similar to this one based on
Yeah.
the description because
We've
that's
had
fun.
some fun off-color games. Charlie is usually an indicator for us doing a different game as well. We did the paint game with the colors
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
when
yeah.
we did opera.
Of
Yeah.
course. That was good times. Okay, so we got rate M3GAN 2.0. Rate good or rate bad. Pluses and minuses are allowed. I'm going to go jumping on in there first, Andy, because I can't remember what I rated the first one, so I apologize if there are any inconsistencies. I'm going to go for a straight B because I had fun with it. I didn't dislike. There wasn't a minute where I disliked the script or people saying the script sounded like it was written by AI. It's just a very it isn't a film you got to think about too much. You kind of sit back, enjoy the ride, enjoy the silliness of it. We also didn't mention that there is a moment where Freegan pretty much sings the whole first verse and chorus of that Kate Bush song that I can't quite remember what it's called, but I remember it being on like an NSPCC advert.
And she shushes her.
And she shushes her and she takes it to the chorus. Things that in other films would make me cringe, for some reason in this film and in these films, don't make me cringe. I kind of just appreciate them for what they are. So I think that's a good a good example of like that it is well made, a well crafted film. So I'm just gonna go for a B for now, but I think that's fair.
Very fair, Ben. I'm going to join you on a B. I did and ah about do I need to mark this specifically as a horror film because hand on heart, it
Yeah.
probably isn't anymore.
No, I
But
mean,
yeah, it's made it onto an episode of Horror Hangout, your premium source for horror
exactly,
related content
exactly.
because of its legacy. It's not really a horror film anymore, but I'm not going to mark that down. I'm just going to mark it for how much I enjoyed it. And it's still getting a B from me.
Yeah,
It was it's a lot of fun. It's very poignant as, not only all of us for, if you have any job that uses technology at all, people force AI on you and talk about how it's going to revolutionize your work, not particularly in interesting ways necessarily. Um, and then also particularly for the entertainment industry and what and what AI actually means to it. It's a really interesting discussion on that, wrapped up in quite a fun way, right? That pokes
Yeah.
fun at things that are real things in life, that it's got a sassy little robot who is an enjoyable character, and we get some good action out of it. And I had a lot of fun. This, I feel, will be a future of, if I'm, you get in from the pub and you see what's on telly, Megan's on in the future, I'll sit and watch this again anytime.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. I definitely need to revisit the first one as well because
First one,
I've only seen
definitely
that
do
one.
revisit
So
it. And obviously, watching Megan 1, 2 hours of your time, slightly less. Another thing I'd recommend, play the entire Mass Effect trilogy.
oh God, that's
80 to
that's
100 hours of your
a
time,
huge
worth
undertaking.
it. Still worth it.
Well, as we said about getting time for your money, money for your time. What am I saying?
Getting money for your time. And obviously, if
A
it's on Game
trio of
Pass, I
those.
think.
I bet you could get them for like a tenner. Those free games,
Yeah.
whatever
Oh,
they are.
to get the remastered trilogy, Ben. I tell you
Yeah,
what, get the remastered trilogy,
I've
finish
got
your
like
game
a
you're
baby.
playing, get on that remastered trilogy. I don't say this lightly. Favorite game series I've ever played. Best
Oh
one.
wow, there we go,
Best
man.
story in any game. Loved it.
Brilliant.
People argue that the ending's not particularly nuanced. The entire last 10 hours of the real ending, so
Okay.
good. Everything you've been doing pays off at the end. What a time.
Hell yeah.
Everyone
Awesome.
wants to talk to me about Mass Effect as well as horror
Yeah,
movies.
start
Hit me up.
The Mass Effect soundtrack, Mass Effect podcast. As you could tell, I'm struggling. I'm flagging now. It's getting late, so let's wrap up. Thanks to everybody for listening. If you enjoyed the show, become a patron at patreon.com/horror hangout. Thanks to Taj Easton for our theme music. Thanks to Acast and Rusty Quill for hosting the show. Please consider giving us a rating or review or a comment because that always helps. It's nice to see if people are enjoying or not enjoying the episodes.
Mostly the former, right?
Mostly the former, of course. We're on Instagram, Facebook, Threads, TikTok, and YouTube, or go to horrorhangout.co.uk for everything in one place. Next week, we're talking about the movie Dead Girl with Ariel Power-Shaub. Looking forward to that. It's a film that I've wanted to cover on the show for a little while, and I recently read the novelization as well, so lots to say. Yeah, looking forward to it. We'll see you next time.
Yeah, until next time, just be aware that I am not comfortable enough in my own skin to tell you to hold on to your vaginas. That would make me very uncomfortable. That would be a better sign off line.
Yeah.
Okay, good night, everybody.
But if you do say hold on to your vaginas while the Knight Rider theme's playing, I'll enjoy it much more.
Okay,
Okay. See you
perfect.
next time.
All the best, everyone.
Thanks,
Don't
Ed.
you dare observe me getting something slightly wrong. All right? Bye.
See you later.